Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the X Button, Season 5, Episode 38. I am your host, Alejandro, with me, making a long-awaited return after he pulled a marathon of 4 episodes in a row with one that got lost. My favorite uncle.
What? How did I become an uncle?
The last time I
Um,
called
uh,
you an
uh,
uncle, I think I called you an uncle when Cog
did
was
you?
here. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't even remember that.
yeah. That was
Rick,
2 months
how
ago.
y'all doing?
Yeah, good seeing you back here, Rick, because I like with you, I like talking more than I like texting because it's better to gauge like tone with that. So, and I can't wait to talk about
Uh,
some of these things.
I mean, I tend to be very
Uh,
snarky and sarcastic, so yeah.
exactly. So,
What I say doesn't always convey properly in text.
no, I know. So that's why I was like, yeah, let's save it. Let's not talk here. That's why when I said it, yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna talk about here. Let's wait and wait
Yeah.
until we can talk about stuff because I'm very interested to see if you have more thoughts beyond like what you said yesterday or something that we're gonna talk about
I
later.
do a little bit, but yeah, we'll get
Yeah,
there.
and I would love to kind of talk about that. But thank you for being back here, and yeah, let's not waste time around the bush because this is the X Bottom Podcast, Escapes Gaming Podcast that posts every Fridays from 10 a.m. onwards, God willing. Available on the YouTube channel Escape Gaming as well as most audio services around the world, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the like. You can find links in the RSS feed at tinyurl.com/escape gaming. And if you enjoy our show, give us a like and subscribe. And just a couple housekeeping that I want to kind of pull. I reviewed Ninja Gaiden 4 for Season Gaming. My review went live on Monday. I had the opportunity, thanks to Xbox allowing it, to be able to stream the game at the time the embargo lifted before the game came out. I was free to like play whatever I wanted, say whatever I wanted once the review was out. So you can go watch the BOD of the early hours of the stream. If you're currently not playing it, obviously you can play it if you buy it or if you have Game Pass. It's now available to you. You can go read my thoughts there over at seasongaming.com. I'm still like continuously like I have a consistent schedule for streaming over at twitch.tv/theslayergiant, where Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are like my guaranteed stream days, with Tuesday and Thursdays case by case basis, depending on time and what's happening, or if I need to swap out a day from one of those to do another stream. So today I'm doing that. Today I was supposed to do, when you hear this recording on Friday, if you're a Friday listener, uh, what would have been Friday's stream is gonna be a Thursday stream today. Obviously, like you're probably already seen it because tomorrow I'm gonna go to the movies with a friend. So depending on like how that goes, uh, I still will have done my third stream of the week. I may do one on Saturday depending on what's there to play to kind of make up for that. But regardless, like my three streams are taken care of for this week with this Thursday streams. And something that I kind of want to start pushing too. I have created a Discord around my Twitch account. It's called The Slayers. Rick is in it. Paul is in it too. I kind of want to house a lot of X button discussions if possible, like over there. I already created like a thread to be able to kind of house that because we had our text chats, but we didn't have like a Discord group. And I see that, for example, Rick has for his show Spreading the Nerd that airs Fridays from at 7:30 Eastern
30.
time.
Yeah.
Like they have a Discord too. We didn't have that, and sometimes like we have cross promoted there. So I'm slowly gonna be building that. So if you go to the description, you're gonna see a link, a permanent link, if you want to join in. So I'm gonna be like talking there. That's where I have posted this. I'd say what I'm gonna be streaming, what I'll be streaming on the certain day. I have the bot now that goes live every time that I go live. It shows you there. So if you have like Discord notifications, it will not notify you on that. So if you want to join in and kind of follow us and chat with us, join us at the Slayers Discord down in the link below. So, and also join Rick's Spread the Nerd Discord too. There's a lot of interesting people there. We love like it's like the culture that's there. It's a very interesting eclectic group. Let's just put it that way.
It's yeah, it's I mean, I don't want to say it's shit posting because it's really not shit posting, but
Yeah, no.
there's a lot of inside jokes in there and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and we're it's a good group in there.
Yeah, so
It's
I'm gonna
small, but I like it that way.
yeah, I'm gonna be linking both our discords there. So if you want to follow the Slayer side, you can follow it. You want to follow what Rick is doing, follow him there too. All right, time to talk about what we've been playing. So let's just jump in with Ninja Gaiden 4, the game that I
Actually, I was
reviewed.
gonna say maybe we should save that one for last, since there's
Okay.
probably the most to say about
Okay.
that one, right?
Oh, sweet. Then let's do Battlefield 6, Rick. We had a Friday after I finished Ghost of Yotei on Thursday. I needed to do my Friday stream, and I was like, Paul, Rick, you guys want to join me for the stream and let's play? And we played for a good 2.5 hours, thinking it was only gonna be like an hour play because you had just done your Spread in the Nerd episode.
And it was the day I said, you know what, I'm
Uh,
taking a day off of Battlefield, and there I was, before you
yeah,
know it.
and there it was, and we had a fucking blast. That game is like every time I play that game with friends, whether it's with you guys or when I play with my sister and my brother and Fadl, my brother-in-law, it's like I'm so happy Battlefield is so good again, and that I have like the amount of like joy that it gives me with
Mm,
the spectacle of like we're running down the fields and you see like the jets flying on top of it shooting the helicopters. You're like painting, like you're trying to paint the helicopters for like a homing missile. A tank is kind of rolling over. It's like it's so, I think you said it in the and spreading the nerd, that it's like it's so cinematic
While being
in
a multiplayer
while
game,
being
yeah.
a multiplayer game, that not even its campaign delivers kind of like the cinematic thrills that you get out of the multiplayer.
Hmm.
So it's like, and that is true all the time, and I like that. Even after we stopped playing that Friday, like EA has been like, and what or Battlefield Studios
Hmm.
has been like pretty proactive. They already like tweaked something that was a big complaint for a lot of people. The XP gains from level 1 to 1 to 20 have now been like boosted up a little bit more so that it
Hmm.
doesn't feel like it's an endless grind.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what I remember saying, that it was like everything is so good. These are kind of like the little things that are just a few tweaks away from delivering greatness. And so far, it is while playing a launch era Battlefield that is
Hmm.
so technically solid to start.
Hmm.
Like to me, that's still wild that we're able to play one like a like this after we went through a decade with three of these games launching busted, with the only one working at a launch pad
Hmm.
being Battlefield One. Um, that I love the weaponry, how everything feels. I love clowning on the passengers that we know are coming from other games.
Hmm.
You know, like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We won't be dealing with them for much longer.
Yes, yeah. They're gonna like
Yeah.
passengers, they're gonna go back to their stomping grounds
Hmm.
relatively soon. But it's like I
Hmm.
love catching the sliders, jumpers. It's like this is not that
Hmm.
kind of game. Die. So it's like it's so funny, and they're the ones that are being loud and complaining. Man, it's like why are there no kill streaks? Why is the movement like
Yeah.
why can I'm like because like you have such Call of Duty Fortnite brain rot. That's
Hmm.
why this is not that kind of game.
Right.
The one thing that I would say that I would wonder if it could be tweaked. Yes, there's like recoil, but there's so much bullet bloom in so many weapons that having both recoil and bloom, sometimes I feel like I'm aiming at someone and shooting, and all bullets kind of go to the side. That I'm like, do I need a different upgrades? Like I don't remember like other battlefields having both bloom and recoil. I remember there being recoil in other
I,
ones.
I, I actually think I do remember them being that way. Because
Uh,
Battlefield has always had a fairly lengthy time to
mm,
kill.
yeah,
I thought I heard people say that Call of Duty is longer. I'm like, I don't know what Call of Duty you're
no,
playing. Sure
no,
as hell
not
ain't the
even.
one I played.
Yeah.
Because Battlefield has, if you got, say, Call of Duty on,
Hmm.
not counting the realistic runs, right? On the
Hmm.
on the end of fast time to
Hmm.
kill, and you got, say, Halo on the slow time to kill,
Hmm.
Battlefield's kind of somewhere around here. It's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and the only time that Call of Duty was like longer time to kill was Infinite Warfare because
Infinite or Advanced? Because I thought
yeah,
Advanced had a pretty long one too.
Advances was actually quicker because there was a
Was
health
it
meter.
okay?
Yeah, there was a health meter in Infinite Warfare that was also there in Black Ops 4. So and then they went back to super fast time to kill with Modern Warfare 2019
Mm,
onward. So they like there's been like I can tell depending on which Call of Duty you're talking about, it depends on on
mm,
that time to kill. Me that I played all the recent ones, no way. There's like
yeah,
absolutely no way
no,
that is even remotely true. So yeah, Battlefield is kind of like in that middle, sliding slightly closer to the Call of Duty side of things,
yeah, yeah,
but it's still like not Call of Duty thing. So it's like
right,
you can still get killed. Like if they see you first, you're down. So it's
yeah,
still not a Halo. There's a way for a counter attack if you start like
mm,
an actual fight. I tend to like that kind of arena shooter. Sometimes I just like the dopamine hit of like being the first one to snap at someone and kill
mm,
someone. And I can't wait now for next week, the first update for the game.
mm. Yeah.
Uh,
First new map is next week also.
there's gonna be like you because it's us that we play a lot of the big maps because you want to play the big modes.
Yeah,
I'm getting now already kind of tired that it's like so few of them.
yeah, yeah. It probably could have used a couple more. Like
Hmm.
it seemed like a pretty solid list at first, and they are
Hmm.
good. The maps themselves are good, but it's like yeah, that they probably could have launched with another two or three and been in good shape.
And I
Even if
don't.
they were older maps carried over, that would have been
Hmm.
fine. But just
Oh yeah,
something to change it up.
I remember the one that a lot of people were complaining was the one that was kind of like in the mountains that in Conquest was like a sniper nightmare I'm like, did
Yeah,
they
I mean,
take
well,
that?
that's my favorite map of them all by
Yeah,
far.
I
You
feel
talking
like
about it's like Liberation
yeah,
Front or
something.
something like that? Yeah,
That is a kind of like it looks like a snowy mountain kind of like, and
yeah,
that was the
yeah,
one that
yeah,
had all the snipers. I feel
yeah.
I barely get that map in Conquest, and I played that.
It never seems to come up. It's weird. Yeah,
Yeah. So that
it comes up in like Breakthrough
mhm.
often,
Oh
but it
yeah,
very rarely seems to come up in Conquest.
and that was a Conquest mode. We played it in the
Yeah,
beta with my
yeah, we
sister
did.
that one time. So
Yep,
that's why I was
yep,
like,
yep.
did they get like enough feedback that they didn't put it in this rotation as this bug? And I
And
feel
what's
that
weird is the couple times that I have played it in Conquest, the snipers did nothing.
uh-huh.
Like there were snipers, but they did nothing. Like that's the tanks and the planes that control that map.
And I feel
In
people,
Conquest, I mean.
yeah, and people have gotten finally now that we know that people are kind of understanding what you need to do in Battlefield.
Yeah,
People are actually playing that. It was
yeah,
fun. It's funny seeing the people that play tank and not push, and they're kind of chilling, just kill
yeah.
farming, and seeing the chat and the chat logs
Uh,
of people just uh yeah, people just kind of like cursing at them. It's so funny. Like
mhm.
that was happening when I was playing with Ains, my AIC over at SG and the SG group, where we used to play like very late at night. Uh, like we saw a chat and I was like, we were talking with Elu, which is our lead editor. It was like reading this chat. It feels like we're reading a live Reddit thread, like the things that they're talking. And I just wanted to like, can you shut that off? Because like they're not even talking about the game. They're like talking about us like, man, the time to kill is so ass. I don't remember like all the
Yeah,
the typical Reddit jargon. Like
yeah,
it's like if you've been on Reddit and the Reddit brain
yeah.
rot, you know what it is. So that's what I was happening. But I am so pleased with Battlefield 6. Like Battlefield 6 is the game where I'm like, if I want to play something, like right now that I'm streaming, because I'm also reviewing something that I can't quite say what I'm reviewing, but it's coming out next week. By the time that I record next week's episode, I'll be able to talk about it. Uh, Trying to think of what I can play. Like Battlefield is one of those games that if I need to do like for content wise, like yeah, it's like hey, you guys want to play? Let's play, and we have
Yeah.
and we have fun. I actually did yesterday started my first ever hardcore Resident Evil 2 remake playthrough. I've always played that in assisted and normal mode, but I never done hardcore mode.
Assisted is boring, but
Yeah.
hardcore is hard.
Yeah, hardcore
Hardcore is
is
very tough. Yeah,
like gosh, I screwed up in one time that I forgot to save and I got killed and I
yeah.
was like,
Now
get
I forget. Does Resident Evil 2, when you play it in hardcore mode, do you have to use
Ink Ravens.
okay.
Yeah.
I knew you did in 7. I couldn't remember if you did in 2 or not.
Yeah, so you need to do the increments, which is how you used to save in the
Right.
original Resident Evil. I think that's how it was in 2 PS1 version. It's
It
been a
was,
while.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
so it's like
4 was the first one that didn't have them. Even Code Veronica had ink ribbons.
yeah, and that was like such a and I think if you were very intentional, you could always have enough ink ravens for that to not be a problem. Here in hardcore and Resident Evil 2, I felt like I was always making tough choices when I was gonna save. And yeah, it's like it adds a different dynamicism to
Mm,
things. And I'm like, and that's such a fun stream game because it's like after the first time playing through RE2, Mr. X slash Tyrant lost his scary
cat.
factor. Playing it in hardcore, return like
Gotcha.
yeah, returned it with full force because he walks so much faster that
Oh,
I was
really?
like, yeah,
I
he
actually
just
didn't know
yeah,
that.
he just sprints like he just sprints so much faster. I was like, crap, and like like one punch leaves you in critical condition if you aren't flying.
Mm,
So, this is also my first time that I started a Claire playthrough instead of starting a Leon because I always do like Leon A, Claire B. This is my first time doing
that's
Claire
funny
A.
too, because Claire's A is probably a lot harder than Leon's A because of her gun,
Yeah, yeah, because it's like because of the
the revolver
SMG,
thing. Yeah.
the revolver, the SMG, and the grenade launcher, which is kind of like what you have. And then
Mm.
eventually you get a good gun that has like a laser sight that
Yeah.
improves
Right. Right.
improves handgun grenades. So it's like I'm making the game much harder for myself. But it's like yeah, I'm kind of playing that. I'm gonna be playing that today because I feel I can beat it. I made it to the sewers yesterday. So and
You still got a while to go then.
yes, yeah, but it's like because but it's like that's the halfway point. So it's sewers
There's
and
a
what
lot of backtracking that kicks in once you get to the sewers, though.
yeah.
That's the big
Mm-hmm.
difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the option that once I get like the wheel, I can go back to
Right.
I can
Right.
go back to the station to get the things that I didn't get.
Right.
So I have that to do, and I'm gonna do it because like every resource is so important here. But really enjoying RE2 is so good. It's
R2 is
RE2,
amazing.
yeah. RE2 always bums me out how half baked the B route of these characters are because it's like it's 50% different, but 50% doing the exact same thing gameplay wise from Route A. that doesn't make sense if chronologically like these stories are appearing like concurrently. Like, why do
Hmm.
you need to do the medallions again if
Right.
theoretically the other character already did that? I don't know why they did that. If it was to pad out
Yeah,
the
when
gameplay.
2 Remake was coming out, I actually was hoping that they were going to make an actual Claire campaign and an
Uh-huh.
actual Leon campaign, kind of like how
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a dirty word, but the way that 6
RE6.
worked,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they actually were like intertwining. Uh, Now,
Regard.
obviously, they were very different in 6 compared to this, but
Yes.
nevertheless, that's what I was hoping they would do, and they didn't. They kind of stuck with the RE2 method.
Yes, and even then, like it's still not even remotely like one to one how it was in RE2 original PS1 version, where like the actual A and B routes were so different to the point that the Tyrant wasn't even in your first playthrough. It only came out in the
Right,
second time, and you
right,
left items in the first playthrough that then you could like, pick as
right.
Claire as whoever your second character was later. So there, it was like more. The ambition of two was big, and I don't know what happened if this was a victim of. Remember, at the time, Capcom still wasn't back. They were still
Right,
kind of working on like if they were gonna hit because we had just gotten seven. Seven was good.
right.
Like Monster Hunter eventually blew up for them. That was kind of like their big comeback, and then 2019 was their big push of bringing RE2 remake and Devil May Cry 5, which was like
Mhm.
that was the year where I feel cemented. Capcom was back finally as a quality, legit Japanese team. And I can imagine maybe the budget wasn't there for them to do like the full two campaigns, so they had to kind of cut corners to say they did
I'm
it.
not sure if I agree with you on that because Sony did a lot of pushing of RE2 for them.
Mhm,
I mean, obviously Capcom themselves published it. I'm not saying they
mhm.
didn't, but
Yeah,
if you remember, like Sony was
they
really like,
revealed it. They revealed it.
yeah, they revealed it,
Hmm.
and they really were the ones that seemed to have all the marketing push for it and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm quite with you there. I would say they probably did put a lot of money into that.
Yeah, but it's still to me it's such a stark contrast because like it's such a high quality game that even right now
Mm,
I'm playing on Pro. That game doesn't have a Pro patch, but
mm,
it allows the ray tracing mode
mm,
that makes the game look pop even more because of all the wetness of the blood and all of that.
mm,
It runs it now at a perfect 60. If you
right.
ran the ray tracing mode on base machines, it was like in
Mm,
the 40s and all that, and you need a
right.
VRR. You needed a VRR to kind of like fix that, and it wasn't really even worth it. It's like it's such a stunning game. It's like that is the game the RE engine was made to do. And I still remember
Mm,
how like I remember being gobsmacked how good it looked back on base PS4 in
mm,
2019, and it's still something that it strikes me because I think it's still a better looking game than the RE4 remake. I still prefer playing the RE4 remake myself because it's a more fun game because that's
mm,
action horror. This is survival
right.
horror,
Right.
but that's like the one thing that's like my only complaint of the RE2 remake because besides that, that's like to me that's a benchmark. Even though I don't agree it's the greatest remake ever made, like IGN recently crowned it. Remember we read the list of what they said were the greatest remakes, and they crowned it as the
They,
number one.
they also recently had a list of the greatest survival horror games, and I can't disagree with much of that list more than what I do. So,
Yeah, so it happens. So I'll be playing more of that. Yotei Rick. So this has been an interesting one to discuss because like I played through so much of this thing. I played almost my entire thing of this streaming, and I got to finish it. Uh, you were early on, like in the grassland area, which is not an exciting area, which I 100% agree
the,
with.
the opening of this game was pretty poor, I think, actually. Whereas actually, I thought Tsushima started very well.
Yeah, with the
Um,
Mongol
yeah,
invasion and all that. So yeah, and
yeah.
also the area you kind of were in after like the big like horse ride that gives you like the credits and all
Mm,
that.
mm.
So it's like I think you played a little bit more. What arc did you do from the two that they give you?
Well, I haven't particularly followed a specific arc like you
Mhm,
guys, which is where a big
mhm,
area of how we've played it differently has gone, I think.
mhm,
Um, so what I did was, it's also to be clear, when
mhm,
we were talking about it, I kept saying I was in the grasslands.
mhm.
Reality is that was not true. I
Yeah,
forgot that there is, so you
a
have like
chunk northeast, right? They said the grasslands
you
and
have actually three connected ones, and then you have
mhm,
the ones up north, the
mhm,
one north
left. Mhm,
west, and
mhm.
then one looks like southwest that I can't even get to
Yeah,
yet. So
yeah, yeah. That's
that's probably where
yeah, that's the final.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
where what's his name's going to be, I imagine.
Yeah.
But I kept saying I was in the grasslands. The reality is I was not in the grasslands. I was
Mhm.
in, is it Todachi Ridge or something
The
like that?
Todachi region, which is
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
second up northeast
It's yeah,
before you
it's
go all
before
the
you
way.
get to, yeah, like because there's the three areas that are connected that
Hmm.
you can run around seamlessly. The other ones you have to take something to get to them,
Yeah, like
right? Um,
up north, you need to take like a boat that
you
takes
take
you
the
to like
boat. The other one you don't take anything, but you go
the
through the
mountains.
checkpoint,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, right. Um, so there's a reason why I put what else I was playing on there because I specifically wanted to emphasize this.
Hmm.
I actually have not much, but a little bit reloaded up Tsushima
Mm-hmm.
to try to more directly compare
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just run off memory.
Mm-hmm.
This is weird because most people would finish Yotei first. I was like, you know
Uh-huh.
what? I kind of want to see how crazy I am for thinking.
I did that too. To be fair,
And
I
and,
did that too.
I will say, now as I told you, I did change my opinion of certain things
Mm-hmm.
after that initially very boring opening of
Mm-hmm.
Yotei. It got much better for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am not in the same camp as you though, and also Silknet. To be fair, he says the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. I do not believe that every element is better in Yotei.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some that are better in Yotei,
Mm-hmm.
some that are equal, and there's some that I think Tsushima was better.
Yeah, I would love to hear which
Specifically,
ones do you think are better in Tsushima.
specifically, I believe Tsushima is better than Azo. I do. I think Tsushima is a better location. Um, because I was like, man, am I crazy? Is it not like I remembered it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of this was part of the design of, to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
something about Yotei that we like, which is allowing you to seamlessly find things.
Mm-hmm.
It makes everything kind of flat and very
Mm-hmm.
hills as opposed, whereas go play Tsushima again, at
There's a
least in the
lot of
first area,
like, yeah.
Tsushima is very elevation heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I far, far, far prefer that to
Yeah,
just see like a wide open grassland.
and
Now, I don't mind seeing a grassland,
mm-hmm.
but it all being that got kind of boring pretty fast to me.
Yeah, I always fundamentally prefer a mountainous area with plains and you see the overgrown areas, and that's kind of like what Yote gave me. That's why I vibe more with that than I do an island. Though I would say that it's still like Tsushima is still a very striking like environment to go to. Like I also like went back to Tsushima because I just needed to make sure that I remember things correctly
Mm-hmm.
about how the exploration worked in that game, or just to notice if like what I felt were improvements in Yote were actual improvements. I feel unanimously like the idea of doing diegetic, the world really
Mm-hmm.
can funnel you like so
Almost
organically.
unanimously, because we
It's
certainly know
yeah,
some people who
somewhat
don't agree with that,
exactly
but
because of both color blindness and also like the fact that he wants to that a certain person who just wants everything so spoon fed to him, which is
right.
like I feel like it's so the way like Jote does exploration. I think you even said it, and
It,
it's just
it,
something
it
like
is it is hugely improved. No debate here whatsoever.
yeah, and not only that, it's like because I feel like it takes what people praise Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring from doing, but this actually
But
feels even
it
more
puts a game
directed.
to it. It puts a
Yes,
game to it, which shows what there is. Well,
it's like
not Elden Ring to be fair, but Breath of the Wild was missing the game. Yeah.
mhm, yeah, and I feel like there's such a it gives you that feeling. It's still a pretty curated game that's not just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like make your own fun and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like taking what we know as a traditional checklist open world like game and makes it all so organic that it just doesn't make everything like a checklist to be
Mm-hmm.
checked. Because, for example, in this is what I saw immediately in Tsushima. Is like there's question marks there, just put it, swipe up, and the wind kind of takes you there. So it was just kind of like, okay, we're giving a diegetic presentation to still pretty to a pretty traditional open world environment. The presentation aided a lot in keeping you like immersed because Yote like think of shadows. Way path mode on because that's the only way to like navigate. You follow the big line because it's so hard to like climb some of those super high hills over in that Japan and in shadows. So it's like that to me can be like, oh man, it's like why is the right way to like navigate this world like naturally without you constantly sliding down all that has to be following this line as I just feel so I've outgrown that and the fact that the wind here is like so like the presentation because it's just beyond the wind it's like the breeze, the coloring, and all of
Yeah.
that. It's like it's a mix of things that just point you right to where you need to
Yeah.
go. And here,
Uh,
that
what it does that I think is genuinely where it deserves a lot of credit, because I mean
mhm,
I do like the wind thing, but that's not new. I mean
mhm,
Tsushima did that, right?
exactly.
I like how it does. I'm trying to think how to best describe this. You keep saying diegetic, and that's not incorrect, but to more break it down, I like how it still does directly lead you to things
Hmm.
without you having to just pull up the map to go there.
Yes.
You'll be like, all right, I'm gonna wander south here, and
Hmm.
you'll see some random dude sitting at a campfire. He'll be like, come stop over.
Hmm.
You go talk to him, and he'll be like, hey, I don't know if you heard, but the Oni is
Hmm.
wandering two things. So kind of like it it more directly pushes you towards
It pushes.
whatever
Yeah.
you're trying to
Yeah.
work on
Hmm.
without taking you out of it and making it that you're just running off of a checklist. And I want
Hmm.
to be clear. I
You
am
can still
not
do
shit.
that.
Well,
Yeah,
you
you
can't do that, and I'll say I'm not just shit talking checklist games because I like them too,
we like them too. Yeah, so
and there is absolutely still room for those. Anybody that says there's not is insane.
yeah.
But I do like that they actually did genuinely do something a little bit unique here. Like the reality was, even though it is good and I liked how it did it, Tsushima didn't really change the formula. It did the same
Exactly.
formula, but instead of putting a glowing
Line.
GPS marker
Uh-huh.
for you, it had wind, which is cool. I like that, but it didn't change how it was. This does genuinely make changes to how that works,
Yeah,
right?
the spyglass thing that you can
That
use.
is absolutely 100% an improvement.
Mhm.
Another thing, and this is more me and just how I'm in my brain. Even though the stealth still sucks ass, I don't
Mhm.
mind doing it as much because it feels more natural to do
Yeah,
as Atsu because she's like, she doesn't care. Like
and
I hated playing Tsushima
it's
with
so
the stealth because
stiff. It's so
it's so
stiff
stiff,
there.
it's so stiff and so bad, and it didn't fit his character. It just did
Hmm.
not. Even when he was the actual ghost, it
Hmm.
did not fit that character. With her, it's like okay, now it makes sense. You have a swords woman. She's kind of a Ronin, but not
Hmm.
quite. She's
Yeah.
um
She's the unreal, which means that she's kind of like
yeah
she's embraced being kind of like a ghostly vengeance fueled demon. How
yeah.
they she's like every time you see her. So
Yeah, so
that means
it's
that
like
the
she's not gonna fight with honor. She's
mhm.
going to fight with whatever means is necessary to get what she has to do. So it makes sense, right? That's why her ability to pick up and throw a weapon makes a lot more
Mhm.
sense than it ever would have
It's
for
that's
Jin to do it.
yeah, that's one of my favorite additions because obviously you couldn't do that in the original. It's like I had such great combat moments of like slashing, grabbing, and and throwing something, then using like my other like there's just a great song and dance that you can do with the combat options in this game, and I do like that there's less ludonarrative dissonance of what you're allowed to do
Yeah,
gameplay wise
yeah.
versus
It's
Tsushima.
what you're doing fits her more than it fit Jin. That is
Yeah,
correct. Yes.
because Jane was always like, "Oh man, my honor, what am I?" But here I'm just stabbing people in the
Hey.
back.
No Jin slander here. I
I
still
know.
like Jin. I still like
No,
Jin.
I like him a lot. Like in the idea of just trying to do, but again, like because it was a lot of navel gazing of him always questioning his actions. I love it more when he had more direct, like everything with
Yeah.
his uncle was the thing that was great about like anything that was going with Jin.
Well, that's
But
one other thing I was going to say is
mhm.
what Lord Shimura, I believe was
Yeah,
his
Lord
name,
Shimura, Lord
is
Shimura.
still better than any character I've seen in Yotei by a mile.
Yeah.
But that's not an insult. It's just Lord Shimura was awesome. So
Yeah, I like the Kitsune a lot. I don't think you've seen the Kitsune
I've
yet.
seen him because
Yeah.
I kind of deviated from what I was trying to say.
Hmm.
I made a point to be like, all right, you know what? Just to get this out of the way now,
Hmm.
and this is not how I usually do this, but I was going to
Hmm.
do it here. I did decide to get like all the weapon types right off the bat because I'm
I
just
did
going
that.
to open the
I did
combat
that
for
too.
myself.
I
Yeah,
did it too.
so I have seen the Kitsune. I have not interacted much with him, but when you first see him up in the
Hmm.
mountains or whatever, I've seen him there.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't wait for you to go through that story because it went not the way that I thought it was gonna go, and going through the Oni also delivered a nice twist too of a character you meet there that I thought like obviously within the story I was like oh I okay I would have thought you were not gonna be there okay I feel like you eventually to
I'm pretty
meet.
sure I know who you're talking about because I went through the camp, so I know
Exactly.
who you're
So,
talking about. Yeah.
exactly. So it's like when you start like meeting like those
Shout out to
closer.
that guy, that voice actor, by the way. I don't know what his name
Yes,
is, but I love
yes.
that guy.
He's both like the voice actor of both
Yep.
from Jedi Survivor
Yep.
and also the voice of Sekiro too. So it's like a
Oh,
and he
I didn't know that because Sekiro talks so little.
exactly.
Well,
But
more
he was him.
specifically, though, he was also the voice of Charles from
Yeah, from
Red Dead
Red Dead
Redemption.
2.
That is probably what I most know him for. That dude
Mhm.
is I mean, he only really has one tone, but he is a genuinely awesome voice actor. He really, really is.
He's a legit chameleon. How would you know he's the same
Yeah.
voice actor that did all this for? That's like
Mm.
legit talent that I might applaud. And I think yeah, definitely like in story wise, in character wise, definitely. I would love to check back in on you when you fully finish the Oni and the Kitsune, like the storyline, that like full on Jello dot mainline story.
Mm.
And I want to hear what you think because that's I feel like where story wise the game started like coming together a little bit more for me.
Mm.
I've always said that like Tsushima is a game that I'm still owe it another replay because of when I played it. A general malaise that I was feeling, especially with pandemic and with the pandemic and all of that, and also you would kind of understand me as a fellow Last of Us lover. That's why it's part two.
It really did overshadow it. I am surprised Sony insisted on releasing it so close to Last of Us.
Exactly, and it was like
I don't understand that.
there was gonna be more of a space between them because it was like if you remember Last of Us was gonna be a February release and this
Yeah,
was gonna be a
yeah.
June release.
Yeah.
Then like the pandemic delays, like put them literally a
Mm,
month after each other, and then
mm,
obviously like Last of Us getting royally fucked by the leaks
mm,
and everyone and the indignation that people felt about the boldness of that story. That then they use Tsushima as kind of like, no, this is my game. They use this as
mm.
kind of like the rebound girl in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Last of Us is such a much better blend. Look, I respect people that prefer that style of game because there's obviously people that would rather play that kind of open world like comfort food game over like the narrative heavy like super ultra violent like heady
Mm.
things. So it's like I think that is like a valid opinion to have, but it was like I felt like Tsushima was being so overly glazed by its
It
fans
was. It absolutely was.
that
I mean, I even told you, like,
yeah.
look, I
Hmm.
love Tsushima. I just said that, right?
Hmm.
I looked at the list of 2020 releases.
It
I'm
was like
like,
your fifth one, right?
I don't
So,
even know if it's top. It probably is five, but I'm
yeah,
like,
it
it
was my
is
fifth one.
like
So
it is genuinely pretty far down there. Like I'm like,
exactly.
I kept forgetting that actually remake came out that year. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, remake is absolutely above Tsushima for me. It's not even
Exactly.
close.
Yeah, I always go back and forth if Last of Us or Remake were like my goaties that year because I love those games so much, especially with my
Mm,
reappreciation of Remake after becoming more of a Final Fantasy guy later on.
mm,
But that's kind of like in hindsight. But it's like kind of like, and also I was always an Infamous guy and ninja samurai stuff I like, but it's never gonna. It's kind of like remember White Shadows. It's
you're not big into the Japanese setting. I know
exactly.
that.
So it's like I know a lot of people are like Paul
Right.
was like and you two are because like because I remember your actual excitement for Shadows because of your knowledge and love for the setting. So I
Mm,
never shared that. So that's why like Tsushima I really enjoyed as Sucker Punch as next evolution. I like its diegetic choices and all that. It's just a
mm,
game that passed me. It was like a burger for me. I ate it. I
mm,
enjoyed it in a moment. I didn't really think about it afterwards. But then I always saw it being so glazed over, like so glazed, to the
mm.
point that it was like 2023 or 2024 state of plays that people were always being like, when are we getting the next Ghost game? And I was like, do we really need it? It's like, and I remember how everyone's
Mm.
so lost, or were like so over the moon when Yotei was announced in September 2024 last year. And
And then
I,
somehow they didn't realize that you were a woman. I don't
exactly,
know how they didn't
yeah,
realize it.
I
I thought that
know.
was pretty obvious right off the bat. I'm like,
From moment one.
that is not
Yeah.
a guy.
Yes, from moment one, you knew,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's kind of what's funny because when I saw, it, I was like, oh, it's Yote. But then when I saw it was a new protagonist, I was like, oh, okay, because what this does to me, it gives me a fresh start to like
Mm,
take this game not as a continuing the story that I liked, but I didn't really like move like it didn't stick with me. But it's like okay, it's like a new tale. So me as like Yote really worked for me as someone that that Tsushima was like something that I really enjoyed that I got the platinum and all that, but wasn't like that. But I wasn't like over the moon with it like I was other Sony exclusives. Like in the PS4 generation, like I would take The Last of Us, God of War, Horizon,
absolutely. Yeah, I definitely take all of them.
Spider-Man like above it.
I will
Uncharted
take
4
Ghost.
too.
I will take Ghost over Spider. But yes, Uncharted 4. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna agree with you with the sole exception of Spider Man. There, every one of
Exactly.
those I would absolutely take
Yeah,
over Ghost.
and
But
Spider-Man would be like
that
the one
doesn't
that's
mean
just
I don't love Ghost because I do.
exactly. Exactly. It's like because it's like it's still like it's such high quality game. That's kind of like when you'll hear that list of games, still like such a high quality list of stuff that was released there. It's just kind of like, what's your favorite flavor? I like post-apocalypse. I like even though Days Gone is down there. Let's put it that way. But also people have to remember that game was not great at launch. It got patched like seven
Everyone
patches.
forgets that.
Yeah,
Everyone forgets the game we played at launch was a much better game than what was actually reviewed.
exactly.
So,
And
I am not one to just dive to the defense of reviewers. The
mhm.
reality is that wasn't their fault. That was Sony's
Exactly.
fault.
Exactly. 100%. And it
Yeah.
was 100%. And the fact that within the first week we got seven patches.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
so it was like to Ben's
There were
credit,
5 patches in the first like 3 days. I think is what I heard.
yes, and it was like
Like for
every
reviewers, I mean. Yeah.
every day. No, and that's it. They barely got because they were like they're coming because there's other that are
Mm,
coming in hot later on. I still
mm,
remember every day that I was playing that game, it was a new patch. I was like,
mm.
okay, good for you that you're patching it,
Yeah.
but holy crap! I was like,
Yeah.
why did this game come out? And
Yeah.
but I understand why because Ben needed to shit or get off the pot. It was 8 years
Yeah.
at that point because
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
Uncharted Golden Abyss was in 2011, and I understand like, and I think even Shuhei Yoshida had said that the reason they greenlit Days Gone was that the greenlit came in 2013 around the time that The Last of Us had come out, and because Naughty Dog was moving over to Uncharted 4 and they were
Mm.
trying to capture the zombie craze, they greenlit it with the idea that it was gonna be out in 2016/2017, and it
And
was
then
gonna
Last of
get
Us 2 comes in 2020. So
exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
But everything got so delayed that by the time that
Yeah.
it still was coming in 2019, they were probably being like, shit or get off the pot. You gotta get this
Yeah.
thing out. And
Yeah.
it was like the only game that was being worked on Unreal Engine 4 at the time where that engine still wasn't like fully like equipped
Mm-hmm.
to handle like an opener. Like Ains has told this story over at the Bitcast that he found out that Unreal Engine is such a shit show of an engine that they didn't even have a drive like for motorcycle. There
Yes,
was a
yes,
they
yeah.
needed to do like a
They had to
drive
take they had to
a
take a
car
car and
and,
compress it.
and compress
Yes,
it to a
yep.
motorcycle to get like the physics going because that's the kind of engine that was. And I don't understand why Ben decided to do that because everyone else was using like proprietary technology, but also Ben was a PSP studio and
Right,
Vita studio, so it's like there
right.
was a
Yeah,
big.
they didn't have any experience with the
Mhm.
was it ICE engine? I think is what it was called.
Yeah, the IC
Yeah,
engine that was like more common, which is kind of like a Sony Santa Monica,
that's yeah
Naughty Dog,
that's what Naughty Dog and yeah.
and Sucker Punch. Like they have like bases of the same, but they are custom built. So it's like it's
Oh,
not like
right.
yeah, they all have like their
But
unique thing.
they have a studio that's specifically adjusted to what the
And
different studios
it's over at
need.
Naughty
Right,
Dog, and that's
right.
a Mark Cerny like that was a Mark Cerny initiative in the PS3 era because they needed to like get
Mhm.
something working for the nightmare that was the PS3's
Right,
design.
right.
So yeah, so Ben was the only one screwed that got screwed there. But it's still, regardless, it's still a pretty good game. Like if they fix the game, I still find it's pretty good. It's just obviously in the lower tier of everything that I prefer in
Mhm.
Sony. But that was not just to also disparage Tsushima. It was just kind of my preference. So
Yeah.
I find myself very surprised that I ended up taking to Jote as much as I did. And I don't know how.
I do just on that same thing. I do remember being surprised that you were pretty milquetoast on Yotei. I'm like, man, I thought he'd
Mhm.
be more hyped than any of us.
Uh-huh.
But that kind of makes sense now. I guess I didn't realize that you didn't think
Mhm.
overly highly of Ghosts.
Exactly. So I think that's why I feel Jote just hits stronger for me because I didn't come in with like it's you know how I see it, how the leap between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like
Mhm.
I've been very vocal that I feel Breath of the Wild is just so massively overrated. One of the my least favorite 3D
Mhm.
Zeldas, but I adore Tears of the Kingdom. Like I
As do
actually adore
I.
it, and I'm like I've always said Breath of the Wild felt like a first draft, and Tears of the Kingdom proves that to me because it feels like a complete realization of that idea. With how much, even with this within the same map, they've done more, or what they've done more, and show people that physics works. So it's like there was like such an impressiveness to Tears of the Kingdom thing because I wasn't overly blown away by the previous one. So I wonder if that same thing
Tears was
happened.
the game.
Yeah,
Breath of the
it
Wild
was
was
the
the tech
concept.
demo. It was the tech demo. That's right.
Exactly. So, and a lot of people decided to overly glaze that tech demo and call
Mhm.
it the greatest
Agreed.
game of all time and all that. And I feel that's what happens. That is like
It
when
wasn't
you,
even the greatest game at the launch of the Switch, let alone of all time.
yeah. So that's why it was like so funny hearing that. And I feel like that also helped pain. Like when I already not like I tend to have this thing where I'm already not in that wavelength, and then I start seeing like the overly praise. It kind of like starts burring. That's why I was a little bit more milk toast uh, on Tsushima and going into Yod. And also remember, I reviewed Shadows and the concept
That's
of
true.
Yod.
Yeah. I
And,
didn't
and
consider the fact that that would have kind of turned you
mhm.
off a little bit too.
And then when they finally the story trailer for Yote came out, I was like, oh, it's a revenge tale that will have like choices to present. I was like, I played that game already. I'm pretty sure Yote might be better just on the first party quality of Sony alone versus Ubisoft, but it was like I feel I played that, but then I took to it, and I felt like the Yote was an open world game that I never got tired of. I was like, I was constantly like, I've gotten to a point like when I see Shadows because I still have so much that I left unsaid. When I see it, I'm like this feels so exhausting. And then when I was in Jota, I was like, I want to do everything. I kind of love being here. I love the tone. I'm really bad. And I'm another big thing. Atsu as a revenge-driven protagonist, much better than Naue over on Shadows. Like I like her
I thought you
more.
were
Like
gonna
it's more
say Jen.
driven.
I was like, I'm not totally sure I'm in agreement there, but
No, yeah, no. I'm talking
she
like
is
it.
better than Naue. I
In,
actually I like Naue better than a lot of people do, but she is better than Naue.
yes,
I won't dispute that.
in that, and especially because in the Shadows conversation, I came out with the out of the two characters that you're allowed to play, I kind of like Jasuke better as a character, like in how he's written, what the story beats are. I don't like Naos as much, but she's the one that I'm playing the most because she's has
Mm,
the gameplay.
mm.
Obviously, did we put it? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that
It's in
later.
there.
Like
It's in
that.
there. It's in there.
Yeah, so it's like I'm glad that they're still kind of tweaking stuff gameplay wise. That it's finally like crossing the gap a little bit between both of us. We're gonna talk about that later, but that was always kind of like my regret there because I was like, despite the controversy of Yasuke, I thought they did good at making him intriguing for why you would be he'd be a playable character,
Mm.
and it sucked that he was so limited because if he was also like fully, he could parkour, he could like do stealth, he could do like I would have played with Yasuke no problem either, even if he was like more melee like focus. It's just that.
So
I like my gameplay of Assassin's Creed a specific way, and now it was the character that delivered that. I was just like her story to me never really got interesting until the very end, and it's slightly more interesting with the clause of a Jari Anjari whatever. I always forget
Awaji,
Awaji.
Awaji.
Yeah,
You,
I
you
have
threw a
such
whole bunch of extra letters in there.
yes, Yeah, the Close of a YG DLC, I feel like it's slightly doing better and giving her more of a story than how Milk and Toast it really feels in comparison. And I like how Erika Ishin like portrays Atsu, especially the deeper you get into the story, actual story stuff. That I can tell you have not seen a lot of that.
I've
I
barely
have
seen any of the actual
exactly,
stories, so
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I understand like that's a put a pin in until you see more, and then
Yeah.
if it's still there, you're not feeling it, then okay, it's like a reasonable minds can differ in there. But it's like I like how that story treats. I do like that as a revenge tale. She's so driven. Like I like that it's like it's very this is
She
very
is
clear.
very single-minded.
Yes,
Very single-minded.
and I like
Um,
that there's no navel gazing of she hears the descent from the outside. I'm like, that's worth having. She got a
mhm.
bad. She's like so clearly driven by that, and the story even plays around that. And I like how that led into the resolution of the story that I found really. I was like, yep, it delivered. This was Kill Bill. This delivered on that. I'm glad that there were still consequences of having pursued this path. The game doesn't shy away from that. That still kind of hits that way. I feel like in a single-minded focus of what it is, I really dug the story a lot. Even though I know that this conversation is happening now, Jian's journey of sacrificing his honor to like wait off the Mongol invasion, what it does to
Mm.
his uncle, that's resonating on a macro level to a lot of people more. That I'm like, that's the one area I'm willing to concede anyone telling me, oh yeah, I love Yotei a lot as a game, but I think I
Yeah.
like what the story of
They,
Tsushima is about more. And I'm like, yeah, I get that because the other one is like a more personal tale versus like the grander
they both are
complementary.
well, no, I was gonna say at their core, they're both fairly
Mm-hmm.
generic and standard
Mm-hmm.
samurai stories, right? The samurai deciding if he has to waive his honor to protect
Mm-hmm.
his whatever, is a very common trope in
In
samurai
samurai
films.
film. Mm-hmm.
Or the revenge tale of
Yeah. Seven
you
Samurai,
you
things like
killed
that.
my whatever is
Mm-hmm.
also pretty common. But the reality is they were both made with the design of being homages to those things.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't trying at any point to do anything overly
Mm-hmm.
unique and unheard of. They were trying. That's why the Kurosawa mode's in there, and then the second one has
Mickey.
was it Mickey, and there's even one third one.
Watanabe.
Watanabe, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's just music, but
The music. So.
yeah, but the other two do actually change the visual
Mhm.
aspect a little
Yeah,
bit. Um,
Kurosawa and Mickey is what I call in Yotei
yeah,
too. So.
yeah. Yeah, I will say, on that note, one minor little complaint that I knew they wouldn't change, but damn, I wish they had.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really do like playing Tsushima
Mm-hmm.
as a second playthrough in Kurosawa mode,
Mm-hmm.
but I wish you could turn off the fact that it changes the audio to mono.
Yes.
I
Oh my God.
understand
Yes.
that's how they sound, but let me play it with the black and white and
And give you the options
film
for the
grain
sound.
and let me have the regular sound because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it does actually sound cool in mono and other times it sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds too
So
it sounds too muffled,
it does, yes.
and I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, it's like with how many options they let you tweak in this thing? It's like, why
I
not?
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't understand why they never give that, and they didn't in Yota either. I'm like,
Hmm.
now to be fair, obviously they had to make an agreement with Akira Kurosawa's
Hmm.
estate. Maybe that was part of it, is it has to sound like it too.
Yeah,
But
it would, and it would make sense.
I do wish you could say like Kurosawa mode with at least stereo sound, even if it's not surround sound.
Oh
Make it
yes,
stereo.
I would say I
Um,
do love the Mickey mode because it makes it even more violent.
yeah,
It adds extra difficulty because the camera is like more zoomed in
right,
because it's like emphasizes the
right.
dismemberment and like the blood and like the grit. And I feel that just works so great with Atsu's type of story that she's like a very like so laser focused and driven. And I would say like props to this, like yes, you could say Last of Us in this game are revenge tales. They couldn't have more
No, yeah,
defense
they're not revenge tales,
in
or I mean, they're not the same
beyond the
outside of
concept.
that. Yes, that's right.
Exactly. And I'm glad that I was like when I played that I was like I cannot in an honest read unless you're myopic and try to boil down everything to just one thing.
Right.
There's no way that you see how both these games like approach the revenge tale and think that one that's like very meaningful about this cycle of like what a revenge tale
Mm.
does versus one that is like delivering on
About the actual,
about the actual revenge.
at least as far as I can tell, it's about the actual
Yeah,
revenge. Whereas
and at
Last
the
of Us is decidedly not about the revenge.
exactly. It's like it's just a gateway for then the ultimate message that a lot of people take issue because they were bloodthirsty and they were hoping that it was gonna be that.
Yes.
It was a rock pull. This doesn't rock pull. It's like it's still like very focused on giving that. There's wrinkles, characters that get added, and they have to be like to kind of give extra weight to Atsu still pursuing kind of like this very driven goal to take out the Yote Six and how that is something that she can't escape because I mean you have your family killed. You get pinned into a burning tree with a
Yeah.
sword, left for dead, and
Mhm.
barely survive that. You think you will just like walk away and be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna move on from that and just kind of live my life. Like I
Right.
kind of get it, and I'm glad that the game never shies away from underlining that, even though that then it drives Atsu in ways that they eventually lead to consequences. And I do love
Mhm.
that, but
Oh,
at the
that's
very
good.
least,
That's good to hear.
and then and at the very least, like they commit. Like I'm glad that at least in this way they're committing. With Last of Us, I eventually like it didn't really bother me because the ultimate message I found even more powerful at the end. That I was like, yeah, I don't mind that this ended up being a revenge still that no, it wasn't really. We've talked about that ad
Mm,
nauseum, but
right.
it's like but it depended a lot on that other thing to land. And for some people it did, for some people it didn't. And I
Hmm.
feel like at least in intent, Jotei delivered that. And I think that's why it hit. On top of the fact that I just think Jotei in gameplay, I just enjoy playing it more. Like I feel like I don't know if you felt it because I felt it immediately. Like there's a nimbleness to just the way Atsu moves around, like just the way like she moves in
She
the
does
world.
seem quicker, but I
Yeah,
couldn't tell if she actually is or if
she
it's
is. No, she
maybe
is.
her animations or whatever.
I
But
think there's like an improvement in the way like character movement feels in the world, whereas like Jin's felt a little bit more. He felt more static and stuck
yeah,
into the
yeah,
world. That makes him
yeah.
feel a little weightier, and that helps a lot in making like the
More
stealth.
samurai. Yeah,
Yeah,
more samurai like, right.
exactly. Whereas like with Jyoti, like I feel that allows the stealth of this game, even though it's not great compared to like a true stealth game.
Mm.
It's like it's an improve. Like at least it feels better to execute
It's
than
an
that.
improvement, and also, like I said, the big thing, at least for me, is it didn't feel out of place to do it. Whereas with
Mhm.
Jin, even when he was the ghost, with Jin, it felt out of place to be doing it.
And it just felt like the play spaces in Tsushima we were just not curated
Yeah, that too.
specifically enough to like really pull it
Yeah.
up. I always felt like I was like, I don't know if this is like the right flow to be able to do this. Whereas
The camps were very basic. They seemed to be a little more
Arena,
uniquely set up in
mhm,
Yotei than what they
yes,
were.
exactly. And I feel like there's like more. I remember Digital Foundry said it in their tech review, and he like John Linneman said it's like there's so much curated play spaces in
Mm,
Yote like that are unique to like the
mm,
regions and like the story stuff that I feel like I appreciate curation more than wide
yeah,
open.
right,
Let's see it, and I feel like
right.
you start feeling that where I'm like, and then it's like, oh man, I wish this kind of level curation was in Shadows because Shadows has like all these stealth mechanics
Mm.
that are not like that. It's like they're great stealth mechanics that are being let down by uninspired like curation in its level design. I feel
Well,
like.
I would say it's more of a. The problem is all of the advanced stealth mechanics in Shadows are only used in small sections of the map, as
Hmm.
opposed to, I mean, you can't really do all the, blowing out lights, and I mean, I guess you can, but
Hmm.
there's no point to it when you're out in the wilderness. They're
Exactly.
almost entirely for when you're sneaking around inside of,
Hmm.
not even in the towns, but specifically in the uh, castle things, whatever you want to call this.
Yeah.
Now I will say there is one area, and this is a very specific thing that I do think was a mistake, and that was starting with you killing the snake right off the bat. I don't think that was a good decision. I think it should have started with you maybe killing
Hmm.
some
Hmm.
random unnamed guy to learn about the snake and have the snake be an actual target as opposed
Hmm.
to starting
Yeah.
the game.
I both agree and disagree. It's funny enough because it's like I feel
That
like
could change later. I mean, depending how
yes,
the game plays. I understand that,
and
but
I feel like here's where like I agree in here because it's like I feel it's such a statement of intent to like give you that kill so early in the tutorial and all that because it
yeah,
like establishes
yeah,
Atsu's like, but I feel like
it's for
when you
sole driving purpose, right?
exactly, but if you get lost in the sauce, which you can do in this game for good and ill, this game is very distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel it saps like you're in like the gameplay and like the allureness of the exploration can sap the momentum because then it can give you
Yeah,
so many hours before you get your second kill.
yeah.
Whereas in that case, like if
Yeah,
you commit like a
I still don't
lieutenant,
have my second kill, so
and so that's why like I feel like you're probably feeling a little bit more aloof because like there's like a very specific goal that's like very yeah she I mean you see her she
hmm
grabs the blood she marks them
hmm
like you can see her when she's where she marks whenever she kills
right,
one of
right.
these
She uses their blood to mark it off, right?
exactly so it's like
Which I will say is very cool. I actually like that a lot.
yes so that's why I'm like I get it in that if you're not a driven individual to get to those other kills faster then it leaves an huge gap
Yeah,
between you get the two, especially because kills 2 and 3 are your choice. Which are you gonna get first? Are you gonna go to Kitsune or are you gonna go to
right.
the Oni?
Right.
and you went Kitsune route. I went the Oni arc. I feel like the Oni felt like, considering like the momentum of like what it gives, especially with the character that you made, I felt that one felt right to get when I did as the second as like the second one to kind of focus on.
Mm.
Even though the game gives you that, and the problem again because it gives you that choice, the story is very basic because it has to kind of like start at a basic point to account for who.
It can't be a linear story, right?
Yeah, until you're fully deep in. Like once you're like
Right.
fully get going, then that's when you're like, okay, the curation and kind of like actually adding meat here starts once you kind of get going. But early on, when you're just getting to the areas, it's like the motivations have to be like generic because they're accounting.
Mm.
Where are you gonna go first here? We're like,
And,
what's it gonna happen? So.
and I was going to say, and again, now understand this has an asterisk of being that I am early, so this has the
Hmm.
possibility of changing.
Hmm.
But one of my other primary complaints, and I mentioned it briefly when talking to you,
Hmm.
but especially going back and playing Tsushima again and remembering how it works, is the general structure of the way the story works. The
Hmm.
faux open structure,
Hmm.
I don't think was a good call.
Hmm.
Because I totally forgot until I went back and played Tsushima
Hmm.
about the what does it call it, like the stories of Tsushima or whatever,
Hmm.
where
Yeah, the tails.
yeah, Tales, I'm sorry,
Hmm. The tails.
your your basically like your named and important companions have chains of
Hmm.
story quests to them. They're not your main story, but
Hmm.
they are the story,
Yeah,
and
and
that
that's where the
works
better
so much
story. Yeah.
better than Yotei's structure for the story is. But again, maybe that changes later. I don't know.
I would
As of
say.
this point, though, I liked going to Sensei Ishikawa
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
whatever the samurai lady's name
yeah,
was.
and
I
I would
like those better than what I've seen.
Lady Masako
But
or Yuna, whatever.
Masako, that's it. Masako,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about.
So
Yes.
the thing that I will give you with that is that Tsushima is more intentional at fleshing out in side quest chains a lot of those characters that I felt the main story falls flat in general because like great story moments happen in at the sides. I feel like what they like is I feel like what how I saw it, and this was something that I was talking in the episode that I got lost 2 weeks ago, is that it feels like Sucker Punch nailed in the energy they put to the side stuff and put all that energy into everything you do with the Yotei 6 and like the story. 'Cause
Mhm.
I feel they put more effort into like making sure that the mainline quests are more have the meat and the power that the side quests of Tsushima had. That then it makes like side tales here in Tsushima like unless you're hunting for like armors and all of that, they're like, they feel less emphasized, but it was like all in
Mhm.
service of trying to nail everything up. And I feel that's why again why I highly encourage try to get more story stuff in
Yeah.
so you can kind of start seeing all of that because that's kind of like where my positivity like is born out of Yote getting to see more
Mhm.
of that because it's like it feels so like I will remember a lot of these story missions more than I will ever do Tsushima's because of that. I
Mhm.
remember a few moments in the sites that like the reveal of Tsushima that gave us in 2018 was a side quest in the game. It was the battle against Lady Masako when she was thinking of like playing for the Mongols and you're fighting her like with the big sunset with the red leaves. That's not a
I
main
don't
mission.
remember that.
That is a side quest. That's a side quest in Lady Masako's thread. That was so think about
I
that.
don't remember that.
Yeah, so it's like if you go to the 2018 E3 when Tsushima was first shown, the gameplay that
Yeah,
looked
right.
so they showed the Lady Masako where you go do like a stealth section and at the end you fight her because she kind of
I
like
mean,
betrayed.
I remember that mission. I don't remember fighting her though.
Yeah, you fight her. So it's like you kind of fight her, and that was a side quest in her side chain. That was not in the main story. And I remember playing that. I
Right.
was like, oh wow, so that was a side quest. Interesting.
Right.
But it's again going back to the thing that okay, what this means is that then the main story, the only thing I remember was when your uncle disowns you for realizing that you are the ghost that is was
Right.
earning the legend, and the very end when you like despite
Duh,
everything,
don't say it. Don't say it. Yeah.
yeah, despite everything, like the very end says
It
that.
had a very, very good ending. It had a
Yes,
very good ending.
it's the one thing that like when you
Yeah.
ask me about the story, I remember that moment really well, and I
Yeah.
remember my choice too, and that's
So
why
do
I
I.
feel so that's why I'm like I'm glad like if I were to make the choice, if you're gonna make something memorable, I'm glad that the Yote 6, the focus on the Yote 6 got the focus here. But I understand for anyone that maybe want a little bit more meat to the sides. Yes, they made a trade-off. They put it all
Mhm.
in the main quest, the side stuff. There is a lot of side stuff. It's not obviously laid out of like, yeah, follow the
Right.
yeah, follow
It
all
doesn't have
this.
the long mission
Mhm.
strings like
Mhm.
Tsushima did though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's all I really had to say about
mhm.
Yotei. I mean, obviously I still have a long way to go. So
Mhm. Yes. So now, Rick, we're trading a samurai for a ninja. So Ninja Gaiden 4 obviously came out on almost every platform except the Switch on the 21st, this Tuesday. Kind of like I mentioned at the top, I got to play this early. I got the code on the 15th, and I had to like play like Xbox. This was the last game that Xbox sent because they sent Keeper, Ninja Gaiden, and Outer Worlds 2, which
Mm.
the review for Outer Worlds 2 by my friend Luis went out this week. He's been in the show. He was once in the show here. I'm seeing when I can bring him back again. And he's also like over there in my streams. He's one of my mods too over there. So I love that guy. So I got the chance to play it. Obviously, like just to kind of put my Ninja Gaiden bona fides out there, just to kind of put like see kind of where I approach it. So obviously, like I played Ninja Gaiden Black for the first time back in the original Xbox, but I beat Ninja Gaiden 1 for the first time with Sigma in 2007. Ninja Gaiden 2 360 original I rented, and I found it so annoyingly difficult in some spots. I never made it to the end, and that one I didn't really beat until I got 2 Black because I never really bought Sigma. I did buy Ninja Gaiden 3 to my own chagrin, original version, and that's the one that I made a joke in my review that that's the game that basically seppuku'd Ninja Gaiden as a series for literally 13 years because there was the Razor's Edge
There was
re-release.
also Yaiba. Don't forget about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, Jaiva's like the one that I never really play because I don't consider like
Yeah,
the
it's
main like
apparently awful.
yeah, yes, exactly. So it's like so Ninja Gaiden was like ask anyone like that loves character action based games, what's the Mount Rushmore? They're sure gonna mention Devil May Cry 1 or 3, and they're gonna mention Ninja Gaiden Black. Like those are kind of like the ones that like of character action based, like what are the kings, like the reference points and all that. I feel those are the games that are always referenced. And
If they know what they're talking about, they'll also say Bayonetta, just to be clear.
yes, and Bayonetta would be like the other one, and some people add Metal Gear Revengeance to that one. Like there's like
I wouldn't. I liked Revengeance, but it ranks pretty low on platinums for me.
exactly, but Bayonetta is like Bayonetta put Platinum on the map as kind of like the premier as a premier
Yeah.
character action based studio because that was coming as like first okay I now made a studio like I made my bones with DMC one, I can do it again and Bayonetta was there and I think Bayonetta two is also like pretty well liked in kind of like to that like
Two's maybe better than the first. It's just a little bit
so.
shorter.
So and obviously more limited exposure because it became a Wii U exclusive that then
Right.
went over to the Switch 2, and then Bayonetta 3 is like mixed bag in every sense of the word.
Very good in some ways and way bigger
Hmm.
step back in the others, but it's
Yeah,
still very good, to be clear. It is still very
mhm.
good. It's
Yes.
just
It's just that then as like
they made some strange design decisions with it.
yeah, especially with the mission structure, what they were doing, it was like very if I remember correctly, it felt like they copied Metal Gear 5's quick mission structure too,
No,
right?
no,
No, no,
actually,
no, no.
I would say it's pretty similar to the other Bayonettas.
Yeah, I'm trying to
It's
remember
pretty
what it
close.
was because I didn't really play it.
Specifically, what I didn't like was the change of how weapons were.
Gotcha.
That you equipped a
Mhm.
hands and feet together as opposed to separating. But
Mhm.
we're not talking about Bayonetta, so
Exactly, but it's like kind of like for the we're establishing who are, what are considered like
right,
the Mount
right.
Rushmore. So Ninja Gaiden the 3D by the late Iragaki because he passed away last week, which is insane to me that we lost him this close to an actual revival of Ninja Gaiden happening.
Mm,
Uh, so obviously this was the secret announcement at the Xbox Developer Direct this January,
mm,
alongside the shadow drop of the Ninja Gaiden 2 Black remaster.
mm.
So, and before that, like in December at the Game Awards, they announced Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, a return to 2D Ninja Gaiden. So it was like team. This was obviously a concerted effort to be like Ninja Gaiden has been gone for so long. Team Ninja fundamentally has changed as a studio that it went down the Neo route. Obviously, you love Neo. They have
Absolutely.
like Neo has found like a great niche as the I wouldn't call it Souls like it's a Souls adjacent because like it's clearly they're aping a specific style again, but they made it their own style. Like
Yeah.
they're like the Team Ninja style of Souls game is like clearly so well delineated from what you think of a From Software Souls game, and that they found a lot of success with 2 Neo games. The third one coming in. I mean, they did Wulong Fallen Dynasty that wasn't as well received.
It's similar to Neo, but it's different in its own ways. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more of an RPG. Definitely, like they push a lot of
Yeah.
RPG elements on that one. Obviously, they briefly did a trip to Final Fantasy Land with Stranger of Paradise, a game that
Yeah. I always forget that
I,
was them. Yeah.
yeah, that I ironically love. It's like
That game was great.
yes, it's like that game has like you should ask Paul about our history with Stranger of Paradise because he hated that reveal trailer so much. and
See, I never quite understood why. I'm like
because of
like
chaos, because
I know the whole I'm gonna kill chaos thing is
yeah,
kind of cheesy, but I'm like everybody is like adamant that this is the whole game. I'm like this is
I
one
know.
line,
Yeah,
one line.
but he just hated that trailer so much, and he like the word chaos was just a triggering word for him that I tortured him for like an entire year. And it was so funny when then Stranger of Paradise came out, it was actually good. That he was like, oh crap, it's like I cannot believe after all this, like this has turned out good. And then we played co-op a lot of it. We were having so many laughs because that game is like Final Fantasy parody, like a Shrek version of Final Fantasy parody because we're going through the stuff, like seeing like the different iconography and like Jack Garland, like not having any of it, of like any of Final Fantasy's nonsense. It worked so well. But could they go back to Ninja Gaiden since they have not been doing character action in forever? I feel that's the reason why they partnered with Platinum, which when that partnership was announced, I was like, I get it. This is still risky because obviously, like Team Ninja, you've been in Neoland for a while. Platinum, you're on site right now because
Yeah,
of Babylon's Fall.
they've not been so good recently. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like
Although,
because
although again, Bayonetta 3 was good, but
exactly.
that was the rare one
Hmm.
amongst Korra and what the hell was the name of that
The
one that came
TM,
back?
the TMNT game,
Not even
the
that one, but you're right about that one too. Babylon's
Babylon's
Fall. I
Fall
forget
is
the name.
like
Like that one was historically bad, and
exactly, and
it's like man, they are not on a good streak here.
the scale bound cancellation is something that really like hurt a lot of that of that studio's reputation. Despite the fact that wasn't their fault, that was like Xbox kind of
Yeah,
like that they pulled the plug on that. And I know Kamiya
yeah.
has always been like so salty that he felt that game was like making good progress, but
He's salty anyway, but yeah.
oh yeah. So it was like and I know like there's some people that like Bayonetta 3, there's some people that despise. So Bayonetta still 3 was still like divisive. So it was like where was this like, where's the platinum that when you
Right.
hear the Nier Automata platinum, the Mad World platinum, the Bayonetta platinum, uh
Astral Chain.
Astral Chain too. So it was like and that was in 2019. So it was like where was this platinum? So it was
Not
like
that
okay,
long ago.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, 6 years ago.
I know it's been a while. I didn't know it's been that long.
So that's why. So that's why. It was like, okay, cool. You're bringing back Ninja Gaiden after this long. This is a partnership that on paper sounds like a match made in heaven, but your recent pedigree makes me question. In my opinion, I felt reviewing it, I gave it an 8.5, and I feel like you can feel the Ninja Gaiden DNA in so many of the movements. Like a lot of that essence is still there, but it clearly has the platinum patina all over it. It's super fast. Even movements that you've seen like in games like Nier Automata, like the way you do the dodge, that's like a perfect dodge and all that. That's straight out of like Nier Automata, kind of like the way that you do like environmental traversal. That is like so like ignoring Nier because there's like wide exploration there before it kind of funnels you in specific places. It's like there's a very single-minded focused game on like in how it's funneling you in its linearity to like its combat system, to like its combat systems. Me that I love ferocity and speed, but also appreciates like Ninja Gaiden's like rewards and the precision nature of you gotta make sure you know when to block, when you're gonna do that dodge, and we're gonna do a move to AoE your way into like when you're like surrounded by enemies and combine everything from like Itsuna drops and things like that. Like all of that is here, but on the speed of what I like of Platinum's best kinds of games. That to me, I was having a blast constantly, just getting more of the weapons with the new character, experimental with the combos, like the speed and ferocity, like the tone. I kind of was kind of like my jam, even though tonally I was like I kind of like your tone, but it still feels weirdly incongruent to what I remember Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3 being. Like, you probably noticed that there's a lot of like anime-esque like dialogue nature between Giacomo and like the new character Sione and like the e-girl that's in your computer and this dude that was wearing like a so it's like all of these things I was like, I don't know about this, but then eventually when Ryu makes his entrance halfway through the game, I'm like, okay, I this seems more right to me. But I noted in my review, one thing I could see like this being a contentious thing is like when you see the cover art of this game, who's the biggest display?
You, very much it's Ryu. That is
Yeah,
right.
he's and Giacomo's at the
And
center.
also, how was this game promoted as a dual protagonist game?
Yeah,
Is this a dual protagonist game, Alex?
no, this is a
No.
yeah, this
Hmm.
is like this is as dual protagonist as DMC4 kind of was, but more importantly, how
No,
Halo 5.
it's way less than DMC4
Yes,
was.
no,
Way
no,
less.
exactly. It's way less. It's actually like I made the comparison. This is Halo 5.
Yeah.
If you remember, Halo 5 was like
Yeah.
they We're paying Master.
probably 70% what's
Yeah,
his name and 30% Chief. Yeah.
exactly, because it was like it was 18 level. No, it was like 15 levels in Halo 5. Three were Master Chief, 12 were Locke. In this game,
Was it that much? Oh,
yeah,
really? I
yeah,
didn't
it was three. Yeah, it was that much Locke,
know.
and the Master Chief levels, two of those were so long. It made you think
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah, yeah. They were a
So,
lot longer than locks typically.
yeah, and you could like go through like three or four lock levels like super quick. So it was like
Right, right,
it was just kind of like in written, but in written form you hear 12 levels are Team Osiris is locked, three are Team Blue, that's Chief.
right.
Why would you do that to the main protagonist? And very
I
simple.
mean, despite what we know, that question does remain.
Yes, exactly. And in Ninja Gaiden 4, it feels like the same mentality kind of happens. Like Giacomo is definitely like they push that character a lot, and I'm so mixed on him because it's like I love playing as him. Once, especially you see the entirety because he gets the weaponry. Like I don't know if you unlock the second or third or fourth weapon. Well, depend on yeah, it's like you'll get everything by chapter 11. Like by chapter 11, you have everything unlocked with Giacomo. It's like every three levels you get a new weapon because they're tied to him slaying a godlike being or like a monster that then like they clean something for the dark dragon and they give you the weapon. So once you have the full kit, I was like, man, I love playing this. And Ryu is only in this game for 4 chapters,
Mm,
and they're all back to back. They're later, so he kind of comes in around how you remember Dante coming in DMC4, but then
mhm.
it's done quickly, and then you get a final mission that's with Giacomo. So already like so if you're already kind of like if your focus is like I can't wait to play Ninja Gaiden 4, and I can't wait to play as Ryu. Yeah, I'll tolerate this other guy, but I can't wait to play as. Hopefully, there's
Yeah,
like gonna be a back and forth. It's like false
they would have
advertising.
they would have been far better off not ever showing that Ryu was even playable.
Yeah,
They
because
really would have been. It just had to be like, oh, hey, cool, you do get to play some chapters as him.
yeah,
Because
and
I think that was a mistake. People are going to actually no. You know what's a better comparison here, except in reverse?
uh-huh.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. It's the rubber.
Except in reverse. You don't
Exactly.
start as Ryu,
Yeah,
you end as Ryu.
exactly. So
But
you're
yeah,
like, so you're basically, it's like if you were starting Metal Gear Solid 2 and you were starting as Raiden.
yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, so it's like, it's not even like an even split, like an Avi or a Ellie
Right,
like campaign
right.
in like Last of Us. So it's like the balance is clear. Like how I think this went, especially with how long I heard this game has been in development. I can really imagine they, for a while, this was just gonna be a Yakumo game. And then Rio was just gonna be something that was kind of referenced, and maybe very late in development, someone was like, "It's called Ninja Gaiden 4." Like,
Oh yeah, someone probably said like people are gonna be pissed if you can't play as
exactly.
Ryu.
If you can play as Ryu, so they probably added him. How do I know they added him late? Why are they adding more weapons as DLC? And they said that ahead of time, back in
Yeah,
August.
although you just now, I mean, obviously you know the game better than I do,
Hmm.
but uh, I I think Yakumo gets a new weapon in DLC as well, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's got.
like he gets like a scythe, and
Mhm.
I don't think they should what Ryu gets. They just said that he gets a new one.
Yeah. They just said that they're giving him more weapons, like with the DLC that they're added, which you can get with the deluxe edition. They already said there's something called the Two Masters. That's like there's gonna be a DLC expansion for this game, so
Okay,
that's coming. But it's like me hearing, oh yeah, we're gonna add more weapons via DLC. Then that
yeah.
exemplifies to me. It's like yeah,
It really, from what you have said, it really does sound like he was very much a last minute addition,
yes,
and
but
maybe to add a few more chapters as
mhm.
well. I mean, that could be.
Oh yes, and or I can imagine then because Ninja Gaiden loves doing this, a black re-release that then
Yeah,
like is gonna work more so because what's also interesting about when you get to Ryu is that very similar to DMC4, you retrace steps from the other character. Like you went
do you actually go through them backwards as well?
not
Do
just
you?
backwards, but you
Oh,
just go
okay.
through the exact same levels, but
Because you basically went through
through
DMC4 backwards as
backwards.
Dante.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not quite that, but it's like the idea of you're retracing the same levels of Giacomo, which is like you probably already saw this in the first level. You're like going through Neo Tokyo, and then suddenly there's like a cut to black that then puts everything like a red, blue, demonic
Oh
neon
yeah, yeah, yeah,
shine
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You go through those levels before there's any neon shine, but it's the exact same levels. So it's like so it's like okay, you're repeating
It's like the
this.
demon world variation of it,
Uh-huh.
basically.
Exactly. So you already saw the Demon World variation with Rio. You
Yeah,
just see the
yeah,
normal ones. You go through three of those levels, and then there's only one fully new level, which is near the end. That then you retrace as Giacomo. So that's kind of like what's funny
Oh
because you're
God.
kind of yeah. So it's so funny how that works. So it's like that is the my one of my biggest complaints, especially for when I think of like a Ninja Gaiden traditionalist that wants to play as Rio.
Sure.
However, with everything you unlock after challenge mode and all that, you can unlock chapter select, and through chapter select, then you can play the entire game as Rio. So if all you want is like see all these levels.
Still not as good with one weapon, but
Exactly, exactly. Though, to be fair, I would say if there's one thing that I'm gonna appreciate, at least how they differentiate both of them is like, despite Ryu only having one weapon, he is so strong. He's so
yeah,
like he has so many movements. So it's like they haven't fully completely shortchanged him. And I get like only having one weapon with just four levels, having all of that. And I can imagine like replaying this in Challenger when they add all the different weapons gonna be. It just sucks that that has to be kind of added later on. But I feel like they still did really good. And I would say once you play as Ryu, you're gonna feel right at home. He has the heft, he has the weight.
how do you not at least give him the lunar? Like
Yeah,
like come on, what
yeah,
are you doing?
yeah, exactly. It was like I was like Giacomo gets a version of the lunar that transforms into a hammer. It's like
Yeah,
it's something like that. And obviously that's kind of like the big mechanical thing they've added to the Ninja Gaiden like weapon sandbox here. That is like when you see enemies start blocking you, like that they're blocking you, kind of you can break their block by switching to the Blood Rain slash Ninja Gleam thing that you pull the trigger on to do like a strong attack that transforms a weapon. If you think of Ninja Theory is DMC. When you like
yeah,
transform the weapon with like that angel mode and all that, it
right.
reminds me a little bit of that. It kind of comes with a meter, so it's like success in this game is not overusing that because it can be very addicting. Of be like, my katana has become like a great sword with this transformation. I can like cut everyone, man. I can cut every like limbs so quickly here. If you overuse it, then you're gonna leave yourself like with no way to break their attacks, and then that can screw you,
Mm.
especially in later difficulties. So it's like there's like a rhythm of using that new ability that grows the further weapons you get from rapier that becomes a literal drill, the lunar that becomes that becomes a hammer, and like a shuriken that transforms into arms that are very similar to Ryu's claws from two. That like it's like they kind of serve similar a similar and a fifth weapon. I'm not gonna spoil what it is. So he Giacomo gets five weapons. Ryu only gets the one, but he gets like all these different moves and all the moves that you remember him from Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3. So that's kind of like my big thing. And what I said to the real lovers, like, get through the game and then you'll unlock chapter select where you eliminate every story, but you get to play through the entire game with Ryu. And it can be really fun because he can, like, Ryu mercs. Like, they gave a mysticism to Ryu in the story, like, especially early on, kind of like they tell the tale of the Dark Dragon and of the legendary ninja. Like, so it's like, at least he kind of has that aura to him. Like, even when he kind of comes in the story, that I feel you feel it in the gameplay, but don't advertise a dual
Yeah, yeah,
protagonist.
that they
don't
really
don't
did
don't
kind of
don't, don't
falsely
that yeah,
advertise.
don't do that because it's like I feel because think about it this way, like seeing as it because I love character action based games. I love the combat overall despite my hangups of like Giacomo is that very bland edgy character despite the fact that his moves are like super cool for me. I still like enjoy like playing and just replaying the like a lot of this level because I enjoy this combat a lot personally, but I also see kind of like that cloud shouting over. It's like I feel like you're gonna make a lot of people salty. You
Yeah.
really are gonna make a lot of people salty not having
It,
Rio here.
it
But
should have been advertised as you play as Yakumo.
mhm,
Ryu is in it. You never even had to
yeah,
say you play as him, but it should have been
Ra-
just said Yakumo's game.
and I feel like Ragebound already proved is like they said from moment one, this is not a Rio game. This is like the new
Right.
guy. Whatever his name, I forget his name was, but it's like
I thought you were Joe Hayabusa in Ragebound.
you play as Joe Hayabusa at the beginning, like in the
Okay, I was
tutorial.
like,
Yeah.
because that's Ryu's dad, but okay.
Yes, you play as his dad, but then you play as this other guy
Oh, okay, I got
for
you.
for the rest of the game because Ragebound is a parallel story to the original Ninja Gaiden NES one
Oh, okay,
when
got you.
Hayabusa village is destroyed and then like Ryu goes to
Mm,
America, which is kind of similar to what they did in Ninja Gaiden 1 Black, like the 3D one. It's kind of like this
mm,
almost the same kind of beat of like the Hayabusa village is destroyed, is still something, and then Ryu goes to pursue him. So you kind of stay behind. That's why you don't play. And people didn't mind because they were very clear. This is a Ninja Gaiden game. You play as this
mm.
other new character. We're homaging like this is like a side story to where Ninja Gaiden 1 and people didn't give a shit. I feel that that's where this game was going, what was gonna go, and they probably realized, man, we're gonna pull three Ninja Gaiden games, and the only one that you play as Ryu is the Black remaster. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know about that. So I think that's kind of what happened. So I feel like I want to see how they handle the post support with this thing, especially with what they do with Ryu. But at this point, like if what you want is a Ryu game, temper expectations. This is a Giacomo game, and you have to take him at face value. Not as great character as Sora because he's just a even bigger edgelord than Raiden was in Revengeance. I feel like it almost feels like there's like a lot of Revengeance energy in this game. Like you can really see that. Uh, from the platinum side, like you feel the vanquish energy, you feel the revengeance energy, the light blue neon presentation. You can see the astral chain energy to it, and there's things I feel that I know there's something that right now we disagree on. I feel like camera was because I was just playing two recently. I was like, I feel the camera in this game because they finally added a lock on button. Has fixed a lot of like, oh, I mean, I feel I'm not gonna be like seeing what I really need to be seeing at a moment because there were many times where you started combat in close scenarios where the camera would like mess up that you could fix with like the pull of the trigger
Right.
before. But something
I don't understand why they removed the ability to just do that.
because
I just do not understand.
yeah, they mixed it with the lock on button now
I know.
because
I'd rather have the camera reset than the lock on though.
yeah,
But
because I was always like locking on. I felt like it was always like giving me that fix anyway. So at least I because immediately I was like a lock on in a Ninja Gaiden game. That's the first. Hell yeah, let's lock on everything. And because I'm so used to locking on in so many platinum games too. So it's like I was able to like pull off so many moves that I remember from Ninja Gaiden, kind of like the same way doing in this one. I remember the ferocity of Platinum's best games. This was here too. That to me was like that's kind of weird that this game has both like I feel like both of the game's identities are shining in very specific ways because I was fearing it was gonna be too much of a platinum game. And then I was like, no, but I'm still pulling as soon as it drops. I'm doing the jumping, like grabbing and doing like the thing where you press A and then you press Y and then you can decapitate and things. I was like, that's like so straight up
the
out
flying
of
swallow. Yeah.
the flying swallow. So it's like all of that is here. So it's like it still kind of feels like that. But I've been jumping a lot. Like I ended up really liking the game, but I also like had those were my major criticisms, the false advertising and the gameplay imbalance of uh how much Giacomo there is in this game versus how much Ryu there is based on how they advertise it. The tone of the story early on just feels wrong. It course corrects later on, but early on it feels like just not quite Ninja Gaiden enough. So that's kind of like where I landed. So you can go read my review over there. But I want to hear more from Rick because obviously, like yesterday in your text, like you were like pretty negative about it, and I wonder if that has evolved.
I have a complicated relationship with
Mm-hmm.
this game as of right now. I
Yeah.
know I want to be very upfront about this.
Mm-hmm.
This is early.
Mm-hmm.
This is right. I didn't get to play it early,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So
How many chapters are you in? Because they're in like
I'm actually still in chapter one, but I think I'm
okay, yeah,
almost at the
makes
end of it.
sense. Yeah, you just
I
seem
think
so
I have the berserk ability. I'm a little
mhm.
bit past that.
Yeah.
I did run into a glitch where the after the combat encounter where you learn the berserk ability, you
Uh-huh.
have to go up an elevator. The fucking elevator didn't work. I had to reload the
Really?
checkpoint. I was so
What?
pissed off. Like,
Wow,
I was
that
around,
never happened to me.
I looked around. I'm like, am I missing a like a lever or something that I have to flip on? Because it was clearly an elevator. I could see that,
Yeah, you
and the
have to
thing was
stand
going
on
to go
that.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ran off and on it a couple times and it never went up. I reloaded the
Uh,
checkpoint. I ran on it. It went right up. I
that
was like,
never happened to me at all. Like there, yeah, that kind
yeah.
of
I
sucks.
mean, I realized that's probably a one off, but
Yeah,
man, I'm trying to give it a chance and it fucking does this.
I know.
Um, all right, so I'll start with some minor things before I get into the bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give it positives in some areas. Number
Mm-hmm.
one, what is one issue that I constantly bitched about with Ninja Gaiden 2? And
Difficulty.
it was far too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they took that and they fucking said, hey, fuck you. Because
Yes.
this game is hard. This
Yeah.
game is really freaking hard.
It's really to add to that. It's really interesting. There's so many debates of like which people like, especially with Ninja Gaiden 2 specifically, because there's a no, the 360 original is the best one. The one that people never go to bat for is Sigma.
Was
But then
because
like
Sigma was much easier.
mhm,
Now, okay, so I guess going to that thing,
and Black. So,
I guess in terms of Ninja Gaiden 2, clearly I'm the only person on Earth that thinks it's easy.
mhm,
So maybe I didn't play far because I genuinely got so bored with it. I actually did
mhm.
fall off of it fairly early.
Yeah,
Maybe that was why I thought it was
probably.
too easy.
Yeah.
That said, Ninja Gaiden Sigma, I would play it, and I'm like, or I'm sorry, Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, I would
Mhm,
play it, and I'm like, same thing. In my brain, I was like, this is still just as easy. I
mhm.
probably was wrong. Ninja Gaiden 2
Yeah,
OG
so
was probably harder.
and for people to know because I had to really study this to understand like what made this so different. Like two,
Enemy quantity is the big
yeah, and
difference. Yeah,
yeah, enemy quantity in two was insane. They would throw almost 20 enemies at you, but they would all go
yeah.
down so quickly.
Well,
And
that's it. If that's where I kind of took an issue is it's like, okay, if I didn't know how to play Ninja Gaiden, yeah, I
mhm,
could see this being hard.
yeah,
However, I knew from playing Ninja Gaiden 1, the flying swallow is
mhm,
everything, right?
yes,
So
yeah,
if
you're
you
playing
know to
Swallow.
be active and never standing still,
Mhm,
I was enemies died so easily. It's like there's no challenge here. Nevertheless, a couple months back, I did finally go through and finish Black. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, it probably is time I just finish this game.
And to be fair to you, like because now you've finally seen it, like when you go to Italy, having to deal with all those ninjas and the demons at the same time,
Italy.
uh,
Yeah, yeah. That's not
and
hard.
when you go to like the Italian
I still
biome,
thought it was very easy.
no,
However, oh,
in
sorry.
360 in the 360 version,
Oh,
kind of
okay,
like
okay.
yeah,
I got
because
you. I got you.
knowing
Okay.
that you dropped off early, I can kind of see that it was easy to just because early on it's just soldiers, so it's so easy to
Right.
like decapitate it, and that's
Right.
around the time you start getting like all the weapons. Then when it starts getting unforgivable, it's like because the density never stopped. It's like you start like having enemies that keep throwing you fucking bombs all the time. On top of having to deal with like the massive demons that don't go quickly down. On top of like being kind of overwhelmed, it just got so overwhelming over there. Enough so that the game was even shoggy back in the 360. That was like such a like
Yeah.
they threw so much. It was like can this even
Yeah.
hold up frame rate wise? Whereas
So
Black,
it does sound like the irony is my biggest criticism. If
uh
I'd have played right
more.
past where I was, I
Yes,
probably would have addressed it.
exactly.
Because
It just brought you
I
so
want to say
early.
I did stop. Like, I remember seeing Volf or whatever his name is,
Uh-huh.
and not playing much past that. So I probably did get to Italy and just didn't play it. Like I
Hmm.
had beaten what's his name, Alexi, the
Uh-huh.
lightning guy. I
Yeah.
had beaten that god awful train thing
Oh
boss.
gosh, yeah, that's one that's like a snake.
Yeah, which is one of the worst bosses ever made.
Hmm.
Although I do know the Buddha statue and the Statue of Liberty are considered way worse, but I never did fight
Yeah.
them. So yeah, ironically enough, it does sound like I stopped right when I should have kept
Hmm.
going because I probably would have liked it better. Nevertheless, so I
Hmm.
did finish Black. Still found it
Hmm.
quite easy the whole way through, outside of one or two late combat things. That
Yeah.
said, when you play, what's it called, Path of the
But
Mentor, I
yeah,
believe
Path of the Mentor,
because I played it on Path of the Adept, which is like
hmm
hard, right? You had
hmm
Warrior, which is normal.
hmm
Then you had Adept, which is hard, which is unlocked to begin with. Then
hmm
you unlocked Mentor and Master Ninja.
yeah.
Even Mentor is fucking impossible. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
This takes it from like a 3 difficulty to a 9,
Hmm.
and Master Ninja's even crazier.
Yeah.
But so back to 4. Yeah, they totally said, okay, you think it's too easy? Yeah, we'll show you.
And I feel like what they did was they mixed the enemy density of 2 and
Yeah.
the
That
tankiness that was there
they
in
are they
Sigma.
are also far more aggressive than they
Aggressive.
were even in 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm playing on hard and I'm like, man, this early in the game, this is sweaty. Like this might not stick because this is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Um, um, yeah, so I was like, okay, that's good, right?
Hmm.
I have no problem there being easy difficulties, but it's
Hmm.
like if you can't from the very beginning play a Ninja Gaiden and have it difficult, then
Hmm.
it's not just not a good Ninja Gaiden, right? Because
Yeah.
most people do play it, and that is the expectation.
Hmm.
And again, I want to be clear: if you want to have an easy, that's fine. I have no problem with
Yeah.
that. But don't make me finish the game
First, before you get those
before
options.
I can play it on an actual difficult level. They did not do that here.
And
Like,
wait until you try Master Ninja.
well, I have seen video of Master Ninja, and it is
Yes.
insane.
Yeah.
But
So.
yeah, so we'll see. I actually may end up bumping it down to normal, but I'm going to try to stick with
Hmm.
hard. We'll see.
Yeah, normal is pretty
So
challenging, like because
is
it's
it?
like
Yeah. So I might end up doing that, but we'll see.
because you remember what I tell you was like, I'm playing on normal, okay. Yeah, I see it, but I feel like it's slowly like ramping me up because it's like it's teaching me all the mechanics, and then suddenly, okay,
Yeah.
you're here it is now. Now
Yeah.
it's up to the
Yeah,
races.
and
Like super
I
quick.
assume I'm not even to that point yet.
Yeah, it's
So
not yet.
yeah.
It's like around
Yeah.
chapter 3 or 4 where it's like they start
Oh,
throwing
okay.
it to you. So you still have
Yeah.
having the
So
chapters before
we'll
they
see.
throw the
I'm gonna
proverbial.
try to stick with it, but it is entirely possible that I will be bumping
Hmm.
down to normal.
Yeah.
So,
So
so, so that's a definite positive. I
mhm.
definitely give them positives with that.
Yeah, the
Um,
mixed.
but
Now the mixed.
the
Oh, unless you
no
had
no no
another
no 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 no
positive.
no. I have some other positives.
Okay, sweet.
The actual combat at its core is good. I
Hmm.
don't argue that at all. It is a good
Hmm.
platinum game. By that same token, and this is not a negative per
Hmm.
se. It's a negative for me, but not a negative per se.
Hmm. Yeah.
You said this, and I believe it was IGN's review by Mitch Saltman
Hmm.
said
Yeah.
this that it was Ninja Gaiden with a dash of platinum, and I
Hmm.
completely disagree with that. I think
Yeah.
it is platinum with a dash of Ninja Gaiden.
I can
It
kind of see it.
it feels way more like, for example,
Hmm.
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It feels
Hmm.
way more like that to me than it does Ninja Gaiden 1 or 2, right?
Hmm.
So by that same token, now we'll get into some of the negatives. First, okay,
Uh-huh.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I would say like by the time that it's because you have to unlock a bunch of stuff from like the Raven dude that kind of
Right,
is
right,
standing there.
right.
That when I started unlocking all those moves, that's when I'm like, here's my Ninja Gaiden stuff. Like here's all
See,
this
see,
moves.
I
The
do
thing is,
have, I do have like the flying swallow and all that. So I mean, I have a
there's a
good
few
bit of
there,
it, and
yeah,
still,
there's a few more still that you can get there, but it's like I don't regret you also feeling because I feel the speed at how everything happens. It's also
it's
so revenge is good at
yes, because
everything.
it's
So
much faster than even Ninja Gaiden 2, which was fast.
yes.
Um, that said, okay, so now to two
Mhm.
complaints, and this first one, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to question your eyesight.
Okay,
Okay,
I want to hear it.
why did they decide to make the menus look like fucking Virtua Boy? Why? The
They
menus are horrible in
they
that game.
do they do with that
I
red
guarantee you, I guarantee you, you
with
agree
the
with me
red
on
hue.
this.
Yeah, with the red hue. Yeah.
It is blood red
Uh
like digital looking text. It
uh
looks horrible. Why did
yes.
they do that? Like, it sucks to even look at the menus because of that. And that
hmm
also then bleeds over, at least for me. I don't like the HUD.
hmm
And this might sound like minor complaints, but the reality is in Ninja Gaiden, the HUD is an issue.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't have a problem with the HUD, but that's a the
I just don't
preference
like.
era.
Yeah, I mean that is a preference for sure.
hmm
Um, this is kind of a minor complaint, and I can't tell if it's just me or not. I have noticed it doesn't give me the feedback that older Ninja Gaidens did, one or two, doesn't matter.
hmm
When I'm getting hit, there was a point I'm like, why am I not getting hit? I was my health. I'm like, no, I'm getting hit plenty. I just didn't
Yeah.
really notice it was
No,
happening.
yeah, no, I think I got plenty of actually I definitely check the options if you didn't like turn anything because I know there's like
Yeah, I don't think I changed anything in the options for this, but
yeah, or because I'm turning I always got like feedback and especially like when you're getting closer to lower health, there's like a
well, yeah,
lower, like
yes,
a slow mo,
I've
a
noticed
slow
that.
mo for that.
I more mean like okay, well, okay.
hmm
I kind of explained that in very generic terms. I probably
hmm
should elaborate more.
Yeah.
Like, okay, for example, that combat encounter when you are
hmm
fighting or when you get the berserk thing,
Yeah.
which is
hmm
that's a fairly challenging combat encounter,
Yes, because
actually.
there's like people shooting you from
Yes,
above
and
and all
that's what I
that.
was about to say. When the guys are shooting rockets, yeah, I know when I get hit by a rocket because it
Yeah.
throws me back and explodes. I'm talking more like
Bullets.
when a guy with a sword hits me or a
Okay.
bullet.
hmm
I didn't notice it nearly as much.
Okay.
Um,
I'm trying to remember, or was I that good at? No,
that,
no,
that
no.
that's obviously very far back in the game from when
I
you
know.
played it. But, um,
So,
then I will say I kind of, in certain ways, like the futuristic Tokyo setting, and
hmm
for certain ways I don't. Like I
hmm
sort of did not like New York setting in Ninja Gaiden 2.
hmm
I thought that was a terrible idea. I
hmm
like the more like traditionalist Japanese village from
Makes
like
sense.
well,
Yeah.
although actually to be fair, you were only there for like one chapter in one,
hmm
but then you went to Vigor.
Yeah.
Um, it just but it felt different. I didn't really like being in New
hmm
York.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So I like this being in Tokyo, but I can see right off the bat, it's like, yeah, this is gonna get real samey real fast. And I know reviews have said that, so
hmm
I know that is not an incorrect thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be until the fifth chapter when you get something that will remind you a little bit of Hayabusa Village, kind of like a
Okay.
mountainous region with like a muted color, but it's not gonna be like a neon, like a neon light showpiece,
Yeah.
like it currently is right now where you are with that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I do like how the further you get into like the demonic, like demonic warping of Tokyo, it kind of gives it more of a unique style, especially when you get to the boss that's in chapter 3 or 4, which is like almost a Silent Hill F reject. I call it like how she looks. It's like she looks very interesting that boss. So it's like that starts giving the spice because I also thought that too because I was like, okay, I'm 3 chapters here. Everything's still so light, white, and blue.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm,
all the enemies are white, like
mm.
armored dudes, which
Exactly.
is
So
neat.
it's so it's like eventually the visual there will be some visual like variants, but I wouldn't dispute the kind of like monotone look and specific look.
Mhm.
I also happen to love neon light a lot, so at least I
Well,
could
I
tolerate.
do too.
So
I do
yes.
too. My issue more, I know this is a story thing.
hmm
I don't like that it's constantly raining either. And
Okay.
I know they say right off the
uh,
bat it's because of the
yeah,
dark
the
dragon,
miasma.
whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was like, I don't mind that it's raining sometimes, but the
Uh,
fact that it's constantly raining, it's like, God,
yeah,
I live in Pittsburgh. I see enough fucking rain.
yes. Yeah, and I think was there rain when Rio was born? Because Rio's is like a flashback when you play later on. So no, there's no rain there. The rain comes
Okay.
after. So it's
Uh,
interesting choices made of
Yeah.
kind of like how they had the
Um,
structure of the story, huh?
and now here I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to guess you're going to disagree with me on this.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
However,
Mm-hmm.
So this is one area where specifically it just does not feel like Ninja Gaiden to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of Ninja Gaiden,
Mm-hmm.
modern Ninja Gaiden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not old school.
Yeah.
I kind of have a very specific feel to it. Sorry, very specific like idea of how it should
Mm-hmm.
feel, right?
Yeah.
Which is not so much combo based. You can do combos, but you
Mm-hmm.
usually can't survive a full combo, right?
Yeah.
But aggressive enemies. You're on the move, which both of those this does have.
Precision,
Both of those,
precision movement.
bingo.
Mm-hmm.
This does not have the precision of Ninja Gaiden, in my opinion. It has
Mm-hmm.
the acrobatics, the
Mm-hmm.
speed, but it has a far more platinum style
Mm-hmm.
based on like a long combo string or whatever. Which I understand you can't just get a
Mm-hmm.
whole combo string, but
Yeah.
and no, I'm not talking about the attack
Mm-hmm.
combos that you do stuff like that. The
Mm-hmm.
movement in particular does not have Ninja Gaiden's precision to me at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said I know you're
Mm-hmm.
probably gonna disagree with me on
Yeah,
that.
because I'm like I feel it kind of does it's just a two it's just more accelerated because I really made sure to like try the older ones just to make sure that I was like okay I just need to make sure that this is how I remember it feeling. I feel like there's a lot that is still there similar but because everything is so sped up I feel it's like so much can be happening at once that it can maybe feel like it gets the precision gets lost. I would say that even though it has the combo nature of what you expect from like a platinum game, the precision of when you do the actual combo instead of just bottom mashing is also very important, especially
Yeah,
because of the
you can't button mash. I didn't mean to come across that way, but
exactly. So I feel like that is kind of like the key that just holds it just at the line. It's kind of like here's where the line is. That I feel like, especially when you unlock more stuff with like the different weapons and all that, it's like
mm,
if you're not like being mindful of when you are in your animation or like when you're like tapping the buttons and
mm,
because it's very easy. Like I can play like this. Okay, so why here? They're over here, but I'm already always kind of like keeping in mind of like where I am in my combo to do what I kind of want to do. It's just everything's just more sped up, and I feel that's something that obviously the especially black if you go more back more to black which is like
we're
way
talking
lesser
Ninja
enemies
Gaiden one black
one
or
one
okay,
black
okay,
yeah
okay.
yeah one black where it's like three or four enemies at once sometimes and it's like you're
But that's all
starting
you
to get
needed because those enemies
Mhm.
were brutal, right?
Exactly, because one mistake it could cost like a
Yeah,
huge chunk of your health,
yeah.
and it's like you're starting to slash, hold the block to do like the backflip, and then you can maybe in that backflip press Y to then bring them up, and then you start slashing them up. You soon drop them, and then you can throw a shuriken, and then so a lot of that's like the idea. You could do all of that in black. It's just that because now all of this is like super sped up, like you're like in turbo mode, and you
Right.
have like 10 more enemies. I feel like the precision it's still right there, but it can get lost in the noise now. But
It's
if
what's it's specifically the movement, not
mhm,
so much the attacks themselves.
mhm,
And that is a platinum thing. Like I want to be
mhm,
clear, I have always if there was one criticism I would level at even the best of Platinum's character
mhm,
action games, it's that moving your character did not feel very precise to me, and
mhm.
that definitely carries over here.
Yeah, but I would say this is even more precise than most platinum games too. So I feel like that's kind of even
It
that kind
better
of got a
be.
benefit. Yeah, no, it is. I found it that way because I felt like every time I needed what I needed to do, it was always happening. At least for me, like I wasn't having that, like I wasn't having the Ninja Gaiden 2 360 problem where I was like because I was being so overwhelmed by like all the explosions happening at me that I felt like I was like, can I even get a break here of being able to dodge
Mhm.
out and and all of that? So, but I feel like
Incendiary shurikens were the biggest bunch of.
yeah,
I didn't even
even in
play in
black,
Ninja Gaiden
yeah.
2, really, but even in first Ninja Gaiden, like
Uh,
that was where Paul was saying he was playing recently.
uh,
That is where Ninja Gaiden 1 throws
mm,
you the wolves and says you better know what you're doing because
yeah.
when the Black Spider Clan starts showing up and they
Hmm.
start throwing the incendiary shurikens,
Yes.
that's where it teaches you you
Hmm.
can't be stationary and pulling off a combo because you're not going to survive. You
Hmm.
have to continually be on the
Yeah.
move.
And I would say like and just kind of how I was told you with Jotei, definitely obviously like unless you end up like
Yeah,
burning out on it,
no, no,
definitely play
I mean,
more.
I'm pushing through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the combat does feel good, and even though it irks me that it doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
like, it doesn't even feel like Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden to me. Uh, it's like okay. I mean, I do still like Platinum's
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I think my initial day's impressions were just me being so pissed that it
That
was
is that's it was.
even further away from what
Mm-hmm.
I was wanting than I had even expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, this is gonna make me sound ridiculous. I went to bed pissed off that night because I was like, I fucking wish I didn't buy this. When I said that,
Uh,
I was not being hyperbolic. I genuinely believed that. I was so mad I
which
wasted the money on
platform?
it.
Which
I
platform?
bought it. I bought it on PS5
Okay,
because
yeah,
it's
I
a
recently got the PS5 version also, even
did
though I
you
had the
buy? Did
Xbox.
you
Yeah,
actually buy it?
yeah, because
um,
this was for Paul specifically because
uh,
he hates the sounds of buttons of the Xbox controller compared to the PlayStation controller. Apparently, his wife was like, "Are you gonna stop playing that because there's too much button mashing that you're doing right now?"
what?
Like because the noise of the Xbox controller is so noisy compared to the DualSense that are
I
like way
I don't.
quieter. So unless your Xbox
I guess it
controller
is.
is like
I guess it is a little clickier.
yeah, so it's like
I just
there's
don't really notice it.
yeah, so I feel like I started noticing it like when I was playing this more because I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's like because the buttons. I would say I love how solid the buttons feel on the Xbox controller for especially like
Yeah,
for that. Like, that's why I love Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. But like the PlayStation controller, I'm also so used to character action based game, but it's also a much
yeah.
more quiet controller, so we kind of got it through there. And I would say the pro mode is noticeable because there's like the pro mode performance that you can go
Boy,
enable.
I never really checked to see if I have that or not. I
Yeah,
might not.
yeah,
I might
yeah,
need to go in and change the graphic settings.
yeah. Change it because it's kind of
I
like
kind of forgot about that.
yeah, because it starts you off in the performance mode. I feel it's like
Yeah, I'm probably in
aesthetically it's
performance
already
then. Yeah.
yeah, it's already like aesthetically nice enough. Like because I reviewed it on Xbox.
Mm.
And but in the pro mode, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like I can see the sharpness of graphics mode now here. And
I'm
it
genuinely embarrassed. I didn't think to check that. I never even thought about that.
yeah, because it's like
I guess I'm used to games defaulting now to pro modes, but
yeah,
I
so
still
that
so like it is weird. Usually the first thing I do when I get any game, I always go through the options menu
uh
first. Always. I don't know why I didn't do it with this one.
mm. Because it's like I don't think the graphics mode was there like in the initial setup because it's like
Mm.
gives you the initial setup and then immediately
Right,
throws you
right,
into the game.
right,
So I get
right.
why you didn't.
Yeah,
It's,
that's true. It doesn't
uh,
take you. You're right. It does not take you to the main menu. It starts you
mhm.
in the game.
In the game
Maybe
immediately
that's
to
why.
so it was
Maybe
like
that's why. And then I forgot about it. That
and
could
you were
be.
like and you're already like in performance mode and it's
Yeah.
and I would say it's a
Right.
really
Right.
solid performance mode. It's like it prioritizes like Ninja Gaiden to me has to prioritize speed in its
Yeah.
in frame rate more than visuals
It
and
does absolutely. I agree
and
with
I
that
feel like
100%.
and I feel like at least the balance got they got the balance right there and it barely shocks and even on the
Yeah.
Xbox version it's like it was barely chugging it I tried it in my monitor at 120 frames on the Xbox version I was like wow this is like super smooth holy crap
Mm.
it's like that's cool and so if
Yeah.
you have
Anybody that tells you can't see the difference, there is a noticeable difference.
especially
That
like
said, that
don't play this
said,
in graphics mode do not play this in graphics mode playing
yeah.
this at
No. No.
30 holy
I,
crap no no
but I will say though, just if we want to get on this real quick,
hmm
with rare exception, I don't think it's usually worth the trade off in console to play it in higher in the like super high
hmm
frame rates because
yeah
most of it you don't have the
hmm
precision, for lack of a better word, with a controller
yeah
that you have with a mouse and keyboard, which is where that does matter to have
hmm
that 120, 140, whatever it is.
yeah
But there we
yeah
go.
so
Look, tech corner for us there.
exactly, yeah, but I would say like if you don't mind playing at 1080p and you have the monitor that can give you the high refresh rate, definitely like playing it for that high, it is worth doing that. It's just more
Mm.
when you go to the TV side, if it's too much of a compromise, then I'm like, but I kind of want I can't wait for the DF analysis because
I
they
thought it came out
specifically
already.
for Ninja Gaiden,
I thought so. I thought it came out yesterday.
yeah, let me see, yeah, let me double
You keep
check.
talking. I'll look. I'll look.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, I saw that there was the one for Outer Worlds, which proved to me that I'm gonna play that on Xbox. That we're definitely gonna talk about Xbox soon-ish, but yeah, because I did see
No,
the
they didn't.
now
I'm wrong. No, I'm
exactly.
sorry. I'm
So
wrong.
the one that came out was Outer Worlds, and that's where I knew that PS5 version didn't ship. The base PS5 version didn't ship with a 60 FPS mode, but the Xbox version did, and the Pro mode has a 60 FPS mode. And
Really?
yes, but the Pro
I
version
didn't know
has a
that.
60 FPS mode, but it has pisser like
Yeah.
shimmery. So it's like, of
Yeah.
course, it's like this is the Xbox way. Like, yeah, it's a multi-platform thing, but we're
Oh,
gonna
no, are you talking about Ninja Gaiden here? Or are you talking
no, no,
about?
we're talking about Outer Worlds.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't realize it didn't have. I think you're talking about Ninja Gaiden. I was like, what
yeah,
does
no,
it
no,
have
no.
the 60?
Yeah, that's what it's on the analysis. That's why I'm gonna play that on Xbox because like okay, clearly it's like the Xbox first
Mm,
party game's gonna play better on the
mm,
Xbox, kind of like Doom the Dark Ages too,
mm.
and Elder Scrolls Remastered. But but yes, so like I would love like just to hear just I want to see like how later chapters. So now knowing that you're still in chapter one out of like
Yeah.
19, So def-
I think I am close to the end of the chapter,
Mhm.
I had to stop obviously to eat dinner and then come do this. So
Yes, and it's a clearly pretty clear delineation. Like I know that, for example, Paul, he's briefly played the older Ninja Gaidens, but this was his first full like deep. That
mm,
he's loving this. Like Paul like, is absolutely like adoring this game,
mm,
but I kind of get it too because like he was raised in the DMC Bayonetta speed more
mm.
than the surgical precision of Ninja Gaiden.
Well, so was I though. To be fair,
Yes,
I mean, I played DMC and then
mhm,
I played Ninja Gaiden,
yeah,
but unlike
you
him,
got to yeah you got to play
yeah,
them together.
I played Ninja Gaiden back in
Yeah,
2003 or whatever year it was it came out,
exactly. So it's
whereas
not
he didn't do
like
it till recently.
exactly. So it's like he let what a character action based game in the DMC Bayonetta mold metastasize more
Mm,
to him. That then it's like it makes sense when Ninja Gaiden 4 is just immediately clicking for like what he wants, and I kind of get
right,
it.
right.
Whereas you played Ninja Gaiden,
I
like you were raised with both, so you kind of
right,
knew like you had the two flavors, and you knew how what made
right.
them most special was the fact that they didn't feel like each other. That's what was so
Right,
special about
right.
it.
And again,
So,
now when I say all this, I want to be very, very clear
hmm
about something. As I said yesterday,
hmm
or today, whatever day it was,
hmm
I know that I am the outlier on this.
hmm
I totally understand that, and I am not saying
hmm
listen to me, I'm right, everybody else
yeah,
is wrong.
no, but it was
But
good hearing the elaboration because you
yes,
couldn't
yes.
elaborate yesterday with the chat. That's why I was like,
I was also at
yeah,
work. I really couldn't break it down as well as I wanted to.
yeah.
Like now that I have said it, does it make a little more sense where I'm coming from?
Oh yes, and there's a few things that I'm like, I want to see if you still feel that way with
Yes.
further upgrades, the weapons you
Right.
get, and other enemies that you're gonna fight, and all that. And then if you feel that way,
Like
then definitely.
I genuinely wasn't just trying to shit talk.
I
I
know.
know sometimes it seems like that.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I came to say like this might be a game that takes five,
hmm
if not four, for me on
Uh-huh.
my top five of the year list.
hmm
I'm not saying it won't. Again, it is still so early. It's hard to really
hmm
make this thing. But on the first day, I'm like, God damn,
Yeah.
this might be my number one disappointment this year.
Yes.
Little but but
Yeah.
but I am like, all right, now that I've played it knowing what it is, I'm like, all right,
hmm
I'm coming at it more easily. And I stand by what I said that it does not feel like Ninja Gaiden to me. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not a good game, but it does not feel like Ninja Gaiden to me
Yeah,
either.
and then you have me in my side that I feel like it's like a perfect, like a just in the line marriage of feeling like both styles of games. But also because I got to see more of it too, and then when I got to see like the real side, the brief real side of things, and playing a lot of this level, it's
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, it's like this is like what I love about Ninja Gaiden. But it's like there's so
Mm-hmm.
much to this game. So, now that you know that you put out there, chapter one. Next time that you're around here, let's see like how much further you get in. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would
I
love
mean,
to.
I'll be playing it after the show at the
hmm
end of the day.
Yeah,
So
so I would love to hear more. And kind of like I told you Yote because like Yote was a funny one. They were like, why are people saying that Yote is so hard? It's like it is so easy and all that. And then you got curb stomped.
the beginning of Yotei was.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's another thing I do want to say.
Uh,
I don't know if you'll agree with me or not here, but I do believe the opening of Ninja Gaiden 4 is
mhm.
horrible. I think the very opening is really, really, really bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
After you get the Sayori or whatever her name is, it gets a little
mhm.
better from there. But the
Yeah,
very opening, I'm like, this is freaking terrible.
it throws you in. It's the problem. It's kind of like the problem because it just kind of starts you. So it's like, and then once you start chapter one, I wouldn't go horrible, but I get where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get for listeners and viewers, you get both sides. You get me that ended up loving despite my clearly stated issues with the way it was advertised, the character balance, and some tonal issues, and then you got Rick's early thoughts. So definitely like let's see
You
where we
get
sit.
Edge Lord.
Yeah, you
Oh,
get
speaking of Edge Lord, I will say one other thing. I think Yakumo is awful. I
yeah.
really do. I
As
think
a
he is.
character, it's very
I
hard
think
for
he
me
is
to
awful.
yeah. As a
I,
personality, it's very hard for me to like really
and
defend him.
now this one is 100% me
Mhm.
personally. I have never liked dual katanas, so I don't like that that's his primary weapon.
Oh, okay. I do love dual katanas a
Yeah,
lot. So
and that is 100% me. And that is
yeah.
100% me. I know some people prefer them, some people are okay with
Hey,
them.
in
I
Ninja
don't like
Gaiden,
them, so it's like, oh, that fucking hurts the hell out of
what's
me.
the dual katana, the Dragon's Fang and Tiger something in Ninja
Yeah,
Gaiden
or
Sigma?
it becomes the
Uh,
true dragon sword and the archfiend
exactly.
blade.
Yeah,
And
I love doing I love using both, and so I just love dual katanas like, and I like using them in Jote too. So
yeah.
that makes sense. Even though it's really
Yes,
cool that
and again, like that's totally a me thing, but you can see now where that also kind of turns me off on his combat style a little bit too.
yeah, can't wait for you to get the second weapon, which is like a more one-handed like rapier that
Oh,
transforms. Yeah,
I thought the staff was the second weapon.
yeah, that's the third one. So
That's the third one. Okay.
yeah, by chapter 8 you'll get the staff, and it feels good. It feels like the lunar. So
Oh, that's
you're
good.
gonna
'Cause
yeah. So
the lunar outside of the dragon sword is the
it's
best.
it's
That's the
so
best
good.
weapon.
It's
So
like it's the best one to do combos on for sure.
yeah.
So now you had the honor of picking today's headlines and adding a little bit of a Rick.
I editorialized just a little bit.
Yes. So because these are in your voice,
Oh,
You
you want
have
me to
the
read them?
oh
All
yes,
right, all
yes,
right.
absolutely.
Let me
Yeah.
switch my monitors here. Then hold
Yes,
on.
yeah, I would love you for you to read them because like I love them so much. So we got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. We got nine headline
I
editorials.
went with the ones that mostly I kind of think are
Hmm.
the biggest
Oh
news
yes, no.
of
From
the
what
week.
I've seen, I feel we're in such heavy release season that trying to find biggest news is not.
Maybe we're not gonna do that because it looks like a nuclear bomb went off in front of me
Yes.
because of the white screen.
Yeah, I was.
So
Yeah,
I was like, why is
I
it
was.
so bright?
Yeah, I was seeing that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna be looking to the side now when I read
Hmm.
these.
There we go.
So our first headline today: Sarah Bond is an idiot who doesn't understand the industry in which she's an executive. Quote, we're really seeing people evolve way past that, she said. Like the biggest games in the world are available everywhere. You look at Call of Duty, you look at Minecraft, you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox.
Hmm.
That's actually what's really driving community in gaming. That's where people gather, they have experiences. And the idea of locking it to one store or one device is antiquated for most people. End quote. Using those games for that statement is absurd as it proves nothing.
Yep.
Also, it's remarkable how most people are in a complete agreement with Xbox's current direction, yet they are so far behind their competitions. I find that odd.
Yeah. Once again, the goalpost moving of them
It's
realizing we have.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I am not saying, well, actually, I am going to say this, that it's the wrong move for Xbox. I'm saying it's the wrong move because I think it's killing the brand.
Hmm.
But in terms of making them money, I'm not saying it's the wrong move.
Hmm.
However, anybody that parrots that this is
Just
the
talking.
direction the industry is going
Hmm.
is being fed a complete line of bullshit and
Yeah.
thinking that that's the truth. If it was the direction the industry is going,
Hmm.
it is where Nintendo and Sony would be going.
Yeah.
Sony are doing it slightly. They are
Hmm.
dipping their toes into it,
Because of
but
the
to say
multiplayer
they have
stuff.
gone full
Hmm.
third party is 100% not true.
Exactly. And that's one of like because I know that unfortunately we are in communities that bring in some kind of people that pairs this kind of talking
Very
points.
much so, yes.
And it's like how is that
And
like because obviously there's some half truths to many things because are they
sure.
actually making a lot of money now that they're like a
Oh,
full third
absolutely.
party publisher and all that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's like I would expect they would considering they bought half of the industry. So
They
it's like
bought the largest publisher on
publishers.
Earth,
Hmm.
and then now ZeniMax
Hmm.
ranks pretty low there in terms of big publishers, but they were still a
But
sizable publisher.
yeah, especially with the amount of games that
Yeah,
they still put out,
yeah,
like when you mix all of that on top of like having swallowed up like tiny ones like Obsidian and things like that that were still putting things out everywhere. It's like when you have cast your umbrella and you have that much, of course, I would expect you to be making more money now because you bought that industry. You basically like
sure,
defaulted to becoming
sure.
that much of a publisher. So that is true, and you're making all that money. We
And like
have.
now the people that that for some reason keep saying that Xbox as the brand
Mhm.
are not putting out quality games. Yeah, I don't get behind that because that's just not
Yeah,
true.
exactly. See,
Um,
I would say that they're a consistently low 80s publisher, and
yeah,
they're.
they can't get into the prestige of
Mhm.
Nintendo and Sony,
Mhm.
but they do tend to hover in like quite
Mid.
good,
Mhm.
nevertheless. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, for example, a keeper was like a 78 from Double Fine. That's the one that came out last week.
Mm.
I thought it was gonna be reviewed worse considering the kind of game I heard it was, and so it still came out positively for a game that's at least unique. That I don't know if those kinds of games are gonna keep showing up with what we learned. I don't know if we had it here. Yeah, we didn't even put it
Uh,
here. We can kind of mention it here in this Xbox story that the report from Jason Schreier that he said that Amy Hood and
oh
Satya
yeah,
is
I
like
didn't
the
even think about that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's like demanding a 30% like profit of like
Yeah.
everything. And that's
Now
such an insane.
I don't know if you read the article. I did not read it. Is it saying that they want Xbox as a whole to be making a 30% profit,
Yeah,
or they want them to be making 30% on everything they
on
sell?
everything they sell.
Yeah, I mean that's just not realistic.
Exactly, exactly.
There's so many things you're just not going to sell
And
that
that
way.
and that explains why there was like such brutal cuts and kind of like closures and cancellations like because it's like they have put now such a heavy emphasis that they need to make all this profit. Why? They waste so much money on these
Absolutely.
acquisitions.
Well, I was
This.
about to say, yeah, no doubt this comes from Satya and Amy
Mhm.
Hood. I don't argue that.
Yeah.
You know why it happens? Because Phil Spencer talked them into $100 billion of
Yes.
acquisitions. That's
Yes.
not just going to be like a, oh yeah, here you go. Here's a blank check. Go have fun.
Hmm.
Like had he been even remotely intelligent about acquisitions, like say buying studios
Uh-huh.
instead of
Publishers.
publishers, let alone Activision,
Hmm.
maybe he could have kept running things the way he intended.
Mm-hmm.
His own stupidity is what comes back to this. So when I see people that for some reason want to exonerate him from this, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this starts with him.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
starts with him because of decisions he made that
Mm-hmm.
got to the people who are running the overall Microsoft and said,
Mm-hmm.
well, we just dropped more money on your division than we have
Mm-hmm.
dropped in
Eh,
what is our future.
mm-hmm.
So yes, we expect returns from you now because you have
Mm-hmm.
not given us returns as
And
of now.
that's just basic. That's just basic
It's
economics. That's just
business.
basic
It's business.
business.
Like I see a lot of people that want to shit on the fact that Satya Nadal is 94 million or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of money. I'm not that. And look, I'm not trying to get political here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is the CEO of the largest company on earth.
Yeah,
Okay,
a trillion,
if you think he's
a
gonna
trillion
make,
value
if you think he's
company.
gonna make 3 million a year, I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not saying I'm not defending him, anything like that. I am
Mm-hmm.
saying the CEO of Microsoft is not gonna make the CEO of fucking FromSoft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm just trying to pick a name, just
Yes,
but
exactly. Yeah.
like he is going to make astronomical money because astronomical results are expected. Now, whether those results will or will not, that I don't know. I'm not talking that, but I am saying this. Like, I don't understand how that became part of this conversation because they are
Mm-hmm.
two very different things. Yes, that's a lot of money. That's chump change for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not even what you like in terms of the gaming industry. That's
Mm-hmm.
not even what you would spend to buy a small developer at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So like to correlate those things is totally odd. Like there is no
Yeah.
connection there.
If
This comes to the what is it, 80 billion, whatever the
mhm.
total was between the two of
Yeah, on
acquisition. That is
acquisitions.
why this is happening.
Yes, and also because like this is what it's so funny. It's kind of like people have been making the joke that this is Jim Ryan's last laugh. That because he was able to successfully like present his case for like the acquisition, and that's why like because they were expecting this acquisition to be done much earlier than it was,
Right,
and it
right.
allowed it to be extended so long and allowed Xbox to just solidify that they just don't have a strong place in the market, that by the
Hmm.
time they finally closed that acquisition because they were too hell of high water to it, they really finally saw the reality of like,
Yeah,
wait, Call of Duty costs how much to
yeah,
run and make every year?
yeah. Why do you think these ridiculous game price hikes happened?
Uh-huh.
Like, look, not to keep beating the same drum that everybody's beating, it clearly wasn't working.
Yeah.
And to try to pretend that it was,
Hmm.
which they did, and for some reason they managed to pull the wool over a lot of people's eyes,
Hmm.
was insane. Yeah, I understand there's a whole lot of numbers behind the scenes that we're not seeing, right? But
Hmm.
when you are spending those amount of dollars to develop Call of Duty, not
Hmm.
even everything else, just Call of Duty,
Uh,
you're not selling it, you're not making any return.
and we already learned they lost $300 million
Yes, yes.
last year
I
for.
know there's some dispute as to whether that's accurate or not, but like
No, it's like
even if that number is not accurate, I guarantee you it's pretty close to
it's
that. Like
because no,
yeah,
and the thing is
yeah.
that like if the reputable people that count like sales because they have access to the data, they can kind of see how that could be true because sales like Call of Duty like maybe wasn't selling as much as the PlayStation versions, but it was still a big seller, a top seller
Sure,
in the Xbox side.
sure,
By putting it on Game Pass, they completely like kaputted that entire
sure.
thing.
To be
Like,
honest, what they should have done, because everybody outside of a few people, everyone's
mhm,
gonna be miserable about something, but Game Pass should have stayed where it was and just said, "Hey, we have to pull Call of Duty out of it, but for an extra $5 a month, you can
mhm,
have the Call of Duty expansion, where now you
mhm.
get Call of Duty." You'd have
Yeah,
been fine because you
yeah,
would have made that money up
because
without
people
pissing
would
off
buy it.
everybody you have. You
Uh-huh.
would have sold that extra $5 a month, whereas now you lost some people. Now, obviously, you're going to gain some people or gain some money based on the
Hmm.
people that stick with it, but you also lost people, so we'll have to see how those numbers work out. But if they'd have done that, they probably would have made more money than what they ended up doing.
Oh
They
yes,
really probably would have.
and the thing is that is once again we always know that if there's something that has come to bit the ass of all of everyone that's in this in this executive leadership at Xbox, from Phil to Sarah Bond to Matt Booty, everyone like the Aaron Greenbergs and all that, they are fucking liars.
Oh, absolutely,
Hi-Fi
absolutely.
Rush, great success. Studio closed.
3 months
Uh,
later.
3 months later,
Uh,
literally.
I played whatever it was called, the ZeniMax game.
Mhm.
Very excited for that. It was 2 months later.
Yeah,
We're shutting down the studio.
exactly.
Like,
We're not.
damn near every word they say, they go back on within the next year.
Yeah, but it was my favorite when Sony announced the Pro, $700. What did Phil Spencer say? We don't need to do a pro because we don't think the market economics are there for the kind of leap. We're happy where they are. We're not in the market to put $1,000 consoles.
Yeah, and meanwhile, they are going to be the first one that have one.
Exactly. Not only that, they already did the $1,000 Rogue Ally.
Oh, right.
So it's like every time, because they won't shut up
Yeah.
at all. It's like they never, nothing that they ever say. It's always like a contradiction with them, and it's like it's so like the amount of step breaking. You mentioned the Talagata Nights thing yesterday, and I was laughing so
Oh
hard
yeah.
because it's
Hey,
like yeah.
like that is a better example than them stepping on rakes because, like, obviously I said it jokingly,
Mhm.
but like the reality is they do something to. So just to be clear, what I said was everybody uses the they keep stepping on a rake over and
Mhm.
over again
Yeah.
analogy. I look at it more as if you ever saw Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
There was the scene where the guy somehow got a fork stuck in his leg,
Yeah.
so they tried to use another fork to get it out, and they ended up getting
Yeah.
that fork stuck in his leg too.
Exactly.
I was like, and now with your Xbox, take this to be where there's 500 forks stuck in their leg now because they keep trying to do things to fix or backtrack or whatever what they
Mhm.
did, and this creates more problems that then they have to do more things to which it's just a snowball effect with them
Mhm.
because they can't shut their mouth, and even more than that, they genuinely probably do believe what they say when they say it, but they don't stick to
Mhm.
anything.
They,
They
they,
don't
they, they
stick
have
to
no
anything.
they are a company that has no vision, and that was
Yes.
all the way back to always online Xbox One when they
Mm-hmm.
backtracked to that. And I remember because I know this is like from fellow, you're no longer as much of a fan of him now, but Colin Moriarty said it immediately
Yeah.
back
No.
then in
No. Yeah.
2013. He was like, whenever they backtracked, he's like, yeah, that was a good decision for online, but it's clear you have no vision for your
Yeah.
console. And
Yeah.
it's so clear that they just don't have vision. And it's like, regardless, and to be fair, just to kind of call it spade a spades, we're also living through a PlayStation generation where a vision wasn't fulfilled, and we're
Sure,
seeing the backtrack
absolutely,
also from that vision
absolutely.
too, with the live
It's
service.
just it's a recurring issue with Xbox,
Hmm.
whereas it's kind of a once off here with
Exa-
Sony. Which is
exactly.
why when people go, well, "Why don't you call it Sony?" It's like, well, we are. The
Yeah.
difference is it's not happening over and
Over,
over,
over and
whereas it
over.
is with Xbox. Now, if Sony does this same stupid shit in the PS6, you
Yeah,
better believe we're going to start
we're
calling
gonna
them out
exactly.
really heavily because it's like, okay, now you're the same stupid
And that's
ass thing.
that's kind of like where the false equivalency starts happening because like regardless of what you want to say with one is like and with PlayStation is that we've been very clear as PlayStation fans like there has been a really
Yeah,
bad generation for
yeah,
us that has not served the traditional PlayStation audience because they've been cautioned by the new audience that they've courted
yeah,
with like becoming the de facto console because they have no competition.
right.
So that alone is like
Yeah,
hurts the people that are sad because why would they have to put any effort?
yeah,
Greg Miller from Kind of Funny recently they made a Gamescast him with Blessing where they're talking how PlayStation has become so boring
yeah. They have, they
because of
have. There's no
with
doubt about it.
because with the lack of competition, with the lack of communication from them, it's like, yes, when the games come, they're good. Like, I'm not gonna like pretend that Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding turn out these great games that came
Sure.
out this year. It's like the quality is still
But they're,
there.
they're a drop in the bucket
Like,
compared to what we got in PS4 generation. Where
or PS3. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I understand obviously that the financial stuff has changed, but
Hmm.
Sean Layden knew what he was doing in the direction he was taking PlayStation.
Yeah.
Jim Ryden
And
chased what were that hanging dollar on a string,
mhm,
and here's what we got because of it.
exactly. And what's funny is that aligning the dates. What's funny is that we're getting the same amount of games per year that we're getting from first party back then. But back then we had roadmaps, we had conversation. We were
Right,
always like
right.
in conversation with Sony that they knew that they were always trying to make us excited about what was coming out. Now they switched into like we're barely getting one announcement per moment.
Yeah.
Like it's like we're getting one per.
And you're getting more announcement of a scoop from Jason Schreier or whatever
Uh
about some stupid live
Stupid
service
that
game
got
getting
canceled.
canceled behind the scenes. And it's like, well, that's why we're not getting games because you greenlit all this stupid shit that these
Hmm.
teams don't have any idea how to make or desire to, in my opinion.
Exactly, and now
And it's like, so now we don't get games at all. Like,
mhm. Exactly. So it's like it's just getting one barely one like because that's what's kind of fun is like Sorrows, yeah, we got it on January announced, and we're finally
mm,
getting it next March.
mm,
But Wolverine was like announced how long ago? It's finally just getting its release
6 years,
date.
I think. I think it was 29. No, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, 2021.
2020. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was like
yeah, right. It's fine.
having to wait 4 years for that one. Obviously, we know that
Yeah,
game went through troubles with the leaks and the change
right,
of
right.
director and all that. But it's like in announced stuff. Then there's only Intergalactic, and
And
that
that's it that we
mhm,
know of. That we
that
know
we
of. There
know
might be other
exactly.
things, but
But that's kind of like the problem of the pivot
right.
on like where things have been pivoting it that it's like even though in the moment when then you like look objectively at how many games have been coming because like if you remember 2019 That was just two first party games, Days Gone and Death Stranding.
Right.
That was all that was, and then yeah, small stuff like the Medieval remake and the Concrete Genie.
Mm.
That were like the small.
The big difference there, though, you're right that that's all we
We
got.
had smaller
However,
stuff that were that
we
cushioned
also knew that we were on the cusp of Last
of
of Us 2 and
and
Ghost of
Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima. Exactly.
Now we're like, well, we think we have Wolverine coming next year. They can say it is, but you never
Yes.
know. We know we have Soros, but
Mhm,
while I'm
because
sure it's going to be good, that is
yeah,
not a game for everybody, right?
exactly.
That is a more niche
Just
title.
like yeah, it's like
Uh,
Returnal wasn't for you, so it's like
right,
it's a little more
right.
niche.
But it's like, so the only thing that you could say is the big thing people were truly all waiting for. I mean, Wolverine's gonna be big. I'm not arguing
Mhm.
that, but
Yeah,
like Intergalactic is the only thing. It's like we still don't even know when that's coming. I think it's coming next year, but we'll see.
yeah. I would hope because it's like it's gonna
You
be
can't go
almost
much
6 years.
longer.
Yeah, much longer
Yeah,
for Naughty Dog,
yeah,
especially and knowing that Naughty Dog pissed away years at that multiplayer game that ended up that people say was good. That's the worst part. Is like apparently
it
Concord
makes no sense why
survived.
you didn't just say,
Mhm.
all right, let's just release what we have. It's gonna sell. We don't
Mhm.
have to. No, instead it was a better idea just to cancel it. It just
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. It does not
because
make sense.
yeah, so it's like and that's like the live service brain rot that a lot of executives feel that is like no, every multiplayer has to be like an ongoing live service thing instead of like a
It has to
multiplayer.
have 10 years of it's like no,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
and again, like we're criticizing PlayStation for doing that stuff, but it's because that's something that
Yeah,
happened in this, and it's worth criticizing for. Circling
I
back to Xbox, how many pivots they did just in this
sure.
generation
Sure.
alone?
I
Like,
want to say it was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes of Defining Duke ago.
mhm.
I believe it was Maddie said it, and he's spot on. He's like, the reality is, imagine if Sony didn't drop the ball so bad this generation. Where would Xbox be right now?
Yeah,
Because Xbox have dropped the ball so bad that it's actually allowed Sony to be as bad as they are.
yes.
If Sony was even half competent this
Mhm.
generation, nobody on earth would buy an Xbox outside of the couple like diehards.
Oh yes, no, literally, it's like it's kind of so funny. It's like Sony in a way they're with a tie, like, with a hand tied behind their back with like
Yeah.
all this like unforced errors. That is like the fruit, the glorious PS5 days were fruits of Shuhei Yoshida. He
They were.
greenlit that,
Yes.
yeah, he greenlit those sequels. It's still worth mentioning that they came out, even though they were cross-gen, they were still like first-party content that we
Right.
got there that was playing best on PS5. But then it's like then none of the greenlists that came after is like we're in the desert, we're
Yeah.
barely getting one at a time.
Yeah.
Like because by the time Yote would have been greenlit, like Shuhei was already gone by that point.
Right.
At least he was still part of Sony, but he wasn't the one greenlighting those stuff anymore.
Right. Right.
But he did greenlit Tsushima before, so it's like
Mm.
so it's that's still kind of like not even like a nurtured new thing from like the new leadership. Like we're still like waiting. I feel Intergalactic is gonna be that nurture, big proof concept of like
Mm.
do you guys have the sauce of like what you're like green lighting? And obviously with trust Naughty Dog is gonna besides what the incels from certain
I don't care.
places
I don't care what
want
those
to
people think
say.
at all.
I
But
mean, which by the way, you should see what Colin did to Smash It TV today was
oh god,
amazing,
I actually might
amazing.
have to watch that just because I hate that guy, and I'll bet you he thought Colin was an ally in that.
Yes, no,
I'll bet you he did.
it's on Twitter. I'll send you the screenshot because
Yeah. I'd like to
Yeah,
see that.
because it was a
Smash TV is a fucking idiot. I
oh
hate
yeah,
that guy.
oh yes, and it was like because it was like he was quote tweeting Colin because Colin like congratulated Sucker Punch for having already the 18th best-selling game of the year with like 2 days in the market that was
Mm,
like tracked and
mm.
and all of that because that's Circana is saying it, and then like this Smash TV was like, oh, where did I hear that this is a success? We're waiting on the official statement from Sony and Sakura. Where is that? And then Colin was like, Circana is the one that has access
Yeah,
to this data, which they
yeah,
report everything to the dollar
right.
from these publishers.
That's not things that anybody can lie about.
Yes,
That is
exactly.
financial data
It's fine.
that matters for stock levels and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
you
like
cannot lie about that.
it's like the only way that you don't see this if you're a complete illiterate. And he even said,
Or if you choose not to, which he
mhm.
probably qualifies as both, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that was like such an amazing like body. Like it was like because we know that Colin would theoretically lean like where these people are, but he doesn't line up with them either. It's
No,
like
he doesn't.
he
They
hates those
think he's an
guys.
ally, and it's like
Yeah, no,
he might say shit that you guys agree with. He's not your ally.
no, he's not your ally.
I don't know where they get this from.
Yeah, so don't come at him. Like he's gonna
Yeah.
come at you. So that was like a very satisfying.
Mm,
Oh, I'm glad that he's posting again. But yeah,
yeah.
goes circling back to Xbox. It's like it makes me it pisses me off like how much of a drone attitude comes from the people that support that brand with every
They
talking point
refuse to
from
hold them accountable. That's
yeah,
infuriating. They will not like. Yeah, you got Sony fans that are going to fight the war for them. You're always
mhm,
going to have those idiots somewhere.
yeah,
But the reality is, if you look through the years, yes, Sony has obviously had their share of loyal fans, right? But
yeah.
their most loyal fans, most of the time, do still hold them accountable when they
No,
don't.
they're bitching.
Xbox's fans do
Yeah.
not. They
No,
do
like
nothing but make excuses for them.
dude,
And
even
it's like, what is wrong with you? That doesn't benefit you.
and not only that, it's like I know that how the system like sentiment is because going back to Colin, like he has bitched how much
Yeah,
PlayStation fans are bitching
yeah,
about things because
yeah.
that's how people feel. And I've said it before, like the most frustrating thing right now is how successful Sony is despite all our bitching
Yeah.
because it's like
This is the generation you would like to see the PS5 bomb hard.
yes, so that it could be like so it can actually be like actual
Yeah.
like the actual sentiment like would meet like how us we feel, but it's unfortunately like how this is where our unk status kind of like comes in as like because
Yeah.
it's like it's us like it's the Simpsons meme of the grandpas like an old man yelling at the
Yeah, in the
at the
cloud,
cloud
yeah.
because it's like they hire like Sony's having their most profitable generation ever. That's insane
I
for
know,
me.
which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and that to me infuriates me because it's like again, why how did these people respond? Money. Money is how these people like they know if things are going good or not. And unfortunately the thing that matters, like they're having the most profitable generation ever. They're still kind of like that.
Hmm.
They're still selling consoles. Matt Piscatell already confirmed. Time aligned, now the PS5 is overpassed the PS4. Like it's selling more than like in time alignment. It's still like behind in overall because of like the late start of the generation and the scarcity and all of that. But it's like don't let anyone tell you that the business that Sony and Nintendo are doing is wrong. Like even Mikey Vara, which I know a lot of people are saying that he's a jilted now executive, so taking it as like the quote like he quoted like we what you quoted from like what
Yeah,
Saruman was saying, and he literally replied as like someone go tell that to Nintendo because
exactly. Look
they
at Nintendo's numbers.
yes
Like, obviously, Nintendo does have the odd
Mhm.
miss here or there. Most of their exclusives
Sell
sell.
through the loop through the
I'm
roof.
not even counting Pokemon.
Yeah.
Their non-Pokemon stuff sells to make 30, 50, 40, 50, 60, 70 million in profit.
Mm-hmm.
And not a one of them is available anywhere but a Nintendo platform.
Yep. So don't come tell us that it
It
doesn't
is a
work.
demonstrably untrue statement. It is demonstrably untrue. And
Mm-hmm.
again, that was why I put the snarky. It's
Mm-hmm.
remarkable how most people
Okay.
agree
All
with
right.
that. No, the reality is, I'm of the impression now that most people do not agree with that.
Yeah.
Some people do. Certain loud mouths do that like to just parrot what they hear.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, and also trying to use Fortnite,
Uh-huh.
Minecraft, and Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with what you're saying?
Yeah, you're trying to like just trying to justify like these
You're picking the biggest
black
names
hole
you can
games.
and going, look, they're multi-platform. It's like they've always been multi-platform.
Uh-huh.
The point is you have exclusives to get people to your ecosystem, and
Mm-hmm.
then they play those games there as well. Like
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that Microsoft does not understand how it works because they do, but they're straight up lying to their audience, and for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, their audience is buying it.
Yes, and we know specifically what kind of
We
people because
we,
I always get
we
another
do.
one. Yes,
We do.
but it's like and obviously yes they own two of these because but that's the thing these were always black hole games now they just have a different owner. That's kind of
Who?
like the big
No, there's
Call of Duty
Minecraft. Oh,
yeah
Call of Duty.
and
Call of
Call
Duty.
of
I'm
Duty and
sorry.
Minecraft. So it's like but that's kind of like what's so funny is that it still doesn't feel like it's their games, despite the fact that they are. Like,
Yeah.
yes, Doom Tony Hawk. That was one of their big first party releases
Yeah.
this year, but because they launched multi-platform, which they would have been multi-platform anyway without their
Right.
acquisitions. It's
Well,
like it's just now a technicality that is just under their umbrella, and it's just them buying themselves to a success for games that were already there. That's why I have because I don't make because I don't say this two ways for the website that I write for there's thinly veiled like Xbox bias in that side.
there
Let's
is.
just
Yeah,
say
there definitely is.
there is, and I made a joke today that it's like well, because The Outer Worlds was at an 84 Metacritic and a 79 Open Critic. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Xbox, which is our next
Oh,
headline.
hold on. I was gonna say that's a segue.
Yeah, read it, and then I can go back.
Yes, I was gonna say our next headline: Outer Worlds 2 reviews have posted today.
Yeah,
As of this is Thursday,
mm-hmm.
October 23rd.
23rd. Mm-hmm.
And the game is currently sitting at the time of recording at a respectable 84 on Metacritic. This is for the Xbox version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and an 82 on OpenCritic, which is interesting. Usually
Hmm.
Open is higher, so that's kind
Yeah.
of weird that it's a little bit lower.
Hmm.
Surprising exactly nobody. Rick has ordered the game despite his year-long protestations of it, which we'll
Yeah.
get to that part afterwards. But you can go ahead and get what you're
Exactly.
gonna say.
So whenever like I saw the Open Critic, I was like, oh, cool. It's like this just continues to solidify Xbox's eight like the polisher that just swims in the eight mid McDonald's range, and I
Yeah, but
just
that
dropped
that
in.
said, that this is exactly where I would have expected this to fall.
Yeah,
So I don't
exactly.
know. I don't know how people thought this would come in at like a nine,
I don't understand.
like not 90 Metacritic. I mean specifically.
Exactly. I never understood how they expect a company that has zero like it has not proven that they know quality be the ones that suddenly they're gonna make all these franchises that before that were always
Sure.
like what if or like Hellblade was an 80. They thought Hellblade 2 was gonna be this like
I don't. Yeah, that's what I said earlier when I
uh-huh.
said they sit pretty comfortably in the 80 to 85 range, but
Uh-huh.
they can't seem to get that prestige 90 plus thing.
Because
Uh,
that's not in their
yeah,
DNA beside the heyday of Gears and the heyday of Halo, which
because you
oh guess
can't
what?
buy studios like that.
Uh-huh.
Those studios are nurtured. Yes, they're obviously owned by Nintendo, they're owned
Yeah.
by Sony, but they're nurtured. You
And
don't
they
just
nurture
they're not just out there and you just buy them and bring them in house.
and it is
You have to build them to that.
yes, and it's like it's insane to me that they don't realize that the glory days of Halo were nurtured by early Xbox. That was nurtured by previous
If
leadership.
not Apple.
Yes.
They started as I mean they technically weren't owned by Apple, but they worked entirely with
Yes,
Apple's
but to
with
be fair, and
Durandal. Yeah,
yeah, but with Apple it was an RTS,
Marathon.
and
I'm
then
sorry.
when
Yeah.
and then when they bought Bungie, that's when that game
Yeah,
like
right,
was
right,
nurtured
right.
into an FPS. So
I was more referring to Marathon because Marathon was a shooter, but you're
mhm.
right. Yes, Halo started as an RTR, and they switched it to that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like and for better or worse, it's like because there believe me, I now know that there's like 3-for-3 defenders. I tell you, which is like I don't
Actually,
know how,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of one of them.
but it,
They dropped the ball on Infinite's like
mhm.
post launch, but
Infinite was great at
I
launch.
will argue until I am on my last breath that Halo 4 and Halo 5 were the best feeling Halos by a mile. You can take your Combat Evolved
Oh yeah, and Game
purists
Curious.
and get the hell out of here, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I like the old Halos as much as anybody else.
Hmm.
The ones that 343 made were objectively better shooters.
Hmm.
Maybe not as good stories, and certainly in the case of four,
Hmm. Five.
five. I'm sorry.
Yeah, four has a good
Actually,
story.
yeah, I'm sorry. 4, 5, and Infinite. I didn't even include Infinite on that.
Hmm.
They are the best feeling Halos by a mile, and
Hmm. They
like
feel
the original
modern.
Halos aren't even close.
Yes.
Now you want to talk about levels and all that? That's a different argument. I'm simply talking about the feeling of the gunplay.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's why I'm like there's I can see that like in specific aspects there's things that are objectively better than what it
Sure,
was, but then like when you see like what Halo did for to change the industry in many ways and how
sure.
like the impact
Yeah,
that
they were not as
as impactful.
relevant to
Mhm.
everything as Bungie, no doubt. But
And
that said, Bungie have also destroyed the industry in equal measure.
yes,
So.
exactly. And that's the thing, like the repetition of Bungie is now in taters after everything post that.
Oh
So it's like
God,
it's yeah,
yeah.
like and continues to be, especially with like the marathon alpha is like going. I haven't gotten my invite still yet, so I don't even know.
I'll be amazed if that game releases at this point because
Yeah.
you see how much people are liking our creators. That
Yes.
game's dead. That game's dead on arrival, man. Marathon is done.
Yeah, it's like it has to either I would hope that they would do an actual open thing because the fact that they keep like
Mm,
hiding it with closed alphas and all that, I'm like, that tells me you're not feeling confident.
yeah,
You're
I
you're
agree.
you're, you're not feeling confident about that product. But it was kind of funny, like circling back to what I said that I feel like Xbox is like respectively in their big stuff, it never lands above like eight. They only an
Mm,
eight, it's always 80, 81, 82s and all of that. Infinite was 87. And I would say that the unfortunate reality of that one is because the post-launch like of that game was so botched that people forget that that game was really well liked. That it's like,
at first, everyone was like, "Hey,
yeah, it's
they
back.
got it right." It's just they screwed up the live service
Yeah.
part of it so
So
bad.
it's like when people are like, oh yeah, Halo Infinite was a fumble game. I was like, yeah, but everyone liked it at launch. It was an
Mhm,
87 for a reason.
mhm,
And like if a Spider-Man 2018, which is an 87, can be as beloved as it is, like Halo can Infinite can
sure,
also be too.
sure.
So it's like there's an objective nature to that. But then like when they everything afterwards, when they're like positioning the big stuff, Starfield, it's like an 82. Like hey,
Right.
Hellblade, 80. Like Forza Motorsport, like 81. Redfall, 50 something. That's
Yeah.
like the thing that are like the big name stuff.
Mhm.
Avowed and 79.
Yeah,
Like
Doom's gonna be probably your outlier there as the
is
highest.
exactly in Doom. What was Doom? Doom: The Dark
That's
Ages.
got to be probably an 86 or 87, I would have
Yeah,
to think.
Doom: The Dark Ages, Metacritic. Let me check just so we get it on the record. Okay, there it is. It is an 83.
Wow, that's lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah, which is much
That
lower
that
than.
that, that game deserves a higher Metacritic than that.
So Doom: The Dark Ages an 83. So there's funny because I know that then people is like, oh, this the only reason why is that because of the Xbox tax, like that, which is as stupid as
Which is the most non-existent thing ever. Yeah.
yeah, which is always trying to justify things. Indiana Jones was like I think an 86 or an 87.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, I forgot
Yeah,
about that one.
yeah, and that one was like legit. I feel because I know you don't feel as high on it as I.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's just not a good game for me, but it is a good
hmm
game.
Exactly, and a lot of people really thought that, and that's the one time, and that to me was like so unfortunate of when it came out because it
Yeah, the
ensured,
reality is it stands even outside of
Mhm.
releasing when it did. It stands no chance in a Game of the Year competition this year.
Especially this year of all
Yeah,
years. So it's like really unfortunate they couldn't get that in, and of course,
two
like,
weeks earlier it would have been, at least been in the
mhm.
competition last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel it would have gotten like I mean, but that's just talking the key list. But that was more websites did give it a game like
Yeah. Right.
Eurogamer
Right.
gave it a game of the year, Game Informer put it in their top 10. It made top 10s in many websites that wait until January to do stuff. Like over here at when we did Game of the Year early, it was our number two. It would have been number one had it would not brought the third chair that's no longer here because where me and Paul ranked things. So it's like it still had a lot of, and it was one of the few times I was like, okay, cool. It's like they cooked something that felt like critically like a critical darling, and
Mm-hmm.
but then when you see everything else from the Hellblades and the Minecraft Legends, and it's like it's all they're always hovering down there.
Hmm.
And the only thing that I see it is like, look, if you're embracing the fact that you're such a big publisher now, you're like a fast food retail restaurant.
Hmm.
I don't mind fast food. I love fast food. I eat most of my
But
fast
it's
food.
not a steak dinner. That's
It's
right.
not a steak dinner. And obviously, like Sony has been for good and ill, they prioritize the steak dinner when before they used to have both the steak dinner and the burger. And that's why whenever they release one thing, it feels like more impactful, like at least just in sentiment, despite the fact that in volume, Xbox is just objectively like more voluminous in
Oh
like
yeah.
in like what they're releasing. But it's just understanding your place in the market. Okay, volume doesn't equal quality, and you
Right.
don't have quality control. Your quality
Right.
control is like all over the place, and you have had to do like literally apology tours for your games that the other ones
Right.
didn't.
Right.
Sony deserved an apology to do an apology tour of their Concord.
Concord. Yeah.
They just like shut it off. It
Right.
refunded everyone and then put Astrobot in the market to win Game of the Year, and everyone then just forgot that was their apology tour with an actually good like an actual great release. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that was kind of like what I was throwing at SGP. Like I mean, Xbox is just a fast food restaurant. It's like that's usually where their stuff lands, and they were trying to
Hmm.
get all pissy about it. And then I threw a final one that I was like, in Open Critic of the three games, guess which is the one that got the highest from
Of the three that just came
that
out,
they just came out that was like published by Xbox?
I would guess Keeper.
No, Ninja
Ninja
Gaiden.
Gaiden. Okay.
Yeah,
I,
and
I thought Keeper just based on the Double Fine
yeah,
uh,
Keeper's the
glazing.
lowest. Yeah, Keeper was actually the lowest. It's 78.
It sounds like, I mean, I'm not hating on it. It's not my type of game, but
Exactly. Yeah,
it does seem like of the three, it probably should be the lowest. So.
exactly, yeah, and I think Peter, who reviewed over at SG, he said it right. Is like he gave it an 8.5, but he was like, I don't know where this is gonna land because of the kind of game it is. It's like this proto
Mm,
like walking sim, artistic game with like a Double Fine specific mumbo jumbo
mm,
and a specific art style that's so particular. It's not like a Psychonauts, it's more a pleasing platformer with like a really great writing and things like that.
mm,
Uh, but uh, but yeah, the one that was the highest in Open Critic was Ninja Gaiden, and I made the joke. I was like, I'm glad, I'm happy. At the time, I think it was 82, and Outer Worlds 2 was 81, and I think Outer Worlds 2 has risen now to 82. So they're tied now. At the
mm.
time, I was like, I'm glad Ninja Gaiden 4 is the one that was the top selling one. At second and third party, like made game published by Xbox. Despite the fact that I've been told that doesn't count because they were trying to say that the Stranding 2 doesn't count, despite the fact that Sony funded
Yeah,
and published that game.
well, right, yeah. I mean, Death Stranding 200% counts for Sony. That
Exactly.
said, While I also am of the mind that say something like Call of Duty, I don't give Microsoft credit for that.
No.
I will actually give them credit on Ninja Gaiden because
Yeah,
the reality is,
they made that game happen.
with all of my issues with Phil and his leadership team, they did approach. They may not have developed it directly, but they did put the foot out there to make sure that it
And
happened.
to
So,
be
so they
fair,
they do get credit for
and
that one.
let's put it like this, because like I even said, like whenever it was revealed, this conversation started because of what happened with Scalebound.
You're right.
This
Right.
was their make good of like
Right.
we screwed up with Scalebound that shouldn't have happened. Let's see what we can work. And then they went to
Mhm.
Team Ninja, be like, hey, we've had partnership before. Like Ninja Gaiden was like a defining thing in
Mhm.
for the Xbox and the
Right.
360 with one and two.
Right.
The multi-platform one base one with three was the one that was a disaster, but
Right.
one and two, like when that was like associated with them and they published the original versions of those games, those were the ones that were like you would associate Ninja Gaiden, like that was like a game that you would associate with the Xbox. So it made sense that they would get approached. They went
Mhm.
to Team Ninja. They were like, "Hey, we're not kind of doing that kind of game anymore because we move on to the Neos and that kind of style of
Mhm.
game." And then they were like, "What if we can like get you someone that can work that kind of game and you work with them?" And they put uh, Platinum on the path there. So
Mhm.
obviously, because Platinum was doing the other stuff with Babylon's Fall, Astral Chain, and all that, because they were such a mercenary. That's why it took that long for it. But they just started. They technically did start that. So it's
Mhm.
like, and to be and to me, it's like I'm glad Ninja Gaiden 4 turned out as good as it did. It's gonna get a lot of praise because then I don't want to hear anyone say anything about Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I don't want it because it's like it is the exact same thing, and I was told that
Well,
that didn't matter.
yeah, yeah. I don't know where you get that from because
Yes,
Sony is the publisher of Death Stranding
publisher
too.
exactly. So
Correctly. So I don't know where that ever came from. That's an
yeah,
insane opinion.
that is just like the people that are just because Sony like Microsoft now has
Fight,
such an
fight, fight,
extensive
fighting the
first
civil
party.
war is
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because now that Microsoft like bought all of this to make them first party, like and wasting all that money, and
Right.
look where they are now. So it's like
Right.
it's kind of why, but it's like because it's like you cannot discount that. It's kind of like how I said that last year in the PS5 had a because of all the second and third party exclusives that they had, like it was Silent Hill, with Final Fantasy, and all that
Stellar
stuff.
Blade.
Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, like that was
Was
all
that
through
last
X.
year?
Yeah, that was last year too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. They
Feels
had
like
a
it was
lot.
3 years ago.
No, but that was last year too, and that was on top of Concord and uh, and Astrobot. So it was like
Mhm.
yeah, it was like a matter. It's like that's what you all had, but everyone just kind of focused. And no, they had nothing. I'm like, fuck it. Dog. They just say they don't have anything.
Yeah.
That's literally something you can only play there. That's the kind of like the difference, and I
Right.
feel that's kind of like where the semantics in the stupid console wars kind of
Yeah.
kind of get lost. But that's why I'm glad that Ninja Gaiden 4 turned out good because it's like
Mhm.
now you cannot say
Right. Yeah.
anything because that is you don't own that game, you published it, and if that meant and that happened, then that means all this money hats that you call money hats or like this other second party like exclusives that you make, they count too. So
Hmm.
shot it.
Um, yeah, so back to the actual
Yeah.
Outer Worlds.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was good to see the reviews were good. I
Mhm.
was not remotely interested, and I did not actually
Yeah.
like Outer Worlds one very much.
Yeah.
However, I watched Luis's review, I
Hmm.
watched IGN's review, and I think I watched one. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um,
Maddie's.
but no, actually, I intentionally did not watch his because he and
Hmm.
I disagree so much on Outer Worlds one.
Yeah, you didn't want to hear like from them. It makes sense.
That I was like, you know what, his input on this probably is not useful to me.
Hmm.
But the reviews that I watched
Hmm.
all did seem to say that more or less the issues I had with the first one seem to have been pretty much completely
Hmm.
addressed here. So I was like, you know what? All
Hmm.
right, whatever. I'll give it a shot. So I
Hmm.
pre-ordered on Amazon. Since I'm an idiot, I pre-ordered the whatever it is, the deluxe version or whatever.
Hmm.
So actually, I'll have it tomorrow. But I don't think I'm gonna play it tomorrow. I mentioned to you, I think I'm gonna.
Hmm.
I have like the week after Thanksgiving off.
Hmm.
I might actually put this one off to the side until then because then I can
Hmm.
actually put some time into it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know. Are you now that the reviews have turned out and word is good? Are you looking into it or no?
Yeah, I was always gonna check it out just because I still have Game Pass before the price hike for
Mhm.
next month. So it was
Yeah,
like it
so that's the other
doesn't
thing is I don't have Game Pass any longer.
exactly. 'Cause
So that was the other
you're
thing. Yeah,
actually like literally
I had to actually buy it, right?
yeah buy it. So it's like the thing that I'm debating on because I'm not seeing it available because there's the games becomes available tomorrow, the $100 edition.
Right.
They used to, like, if you were on Game Pass, you could pay for like the upgrade.
You still can.
Yeah.
When I was on Amazon, they actually were selling the $30 upgrades by itself.
Okay, but it's
Yeah.
not available from the store right now. I think I have to wait until
I want to
tomorrow,
say even with like Starfield, they did not have it available to purchase
until
until
like right
it was
before.
available.
So
Yeah. So you'll probably see it pop up there.
yeah.
Actually, if you move to New Zealand, it's probably
Mhm.
available right now, I would think.
Yes, because it's like I know Xbox likes doing that of like lifting an embargo right before like the early access
Mm.
of something. That's what they did with Starfield. They got me with Starfield. Starfield is was the reason I bought an Xbox for this generation because I started with PlayStation. I got a Series S to get that game because I was like, if I'm gonna get in, at the very least, I want to play Starfield because
Mhm.
it looked like my dream game, and we know how Starfield turned out.
I
I
told you
still
I'm a
hope.
Starfield defender.
Yeah,
I am a Starfield defender.
I am a defender of the idea of Starfield.
Yeah,
I'm
that's probably a
disappointed.
better way. But
Yeah,
I did like it, and actually, not to go on a long
yeah,
tangent here.
there's a lot I like
If the
about it.
rumor of what this next update is going to be is true, I actually think it's going to fix most of the issues I have with the
I
game. And
can't wait
actually,
because
I think from that point, I think I probably will love Starfield
because
then.
it's the same thing of why I was so easy on Outlaws even at launch because it's that kind of like
Mm. It's
spacefaring
what you want,
adventure.
and you're
Yeah,
taking
I'm taking
the
the
warts
L's.
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
taking all awards, and that's what
yeah.
started. I mean, because that's like Starfield was my biggest disappointment besides Spider-Man 2 in 2023, which is funny because those were the two headline exclusives for their respective
Yeah, they were probably
platforms.
two biggest games those years. Yeah,
Yeah, for their in the first party sense. But
yep,
Starfield to me was bigger because I bought a system for it. So
that's true.
and I was like I copium so hard. I played hundreds of hours and it was like I felt nothing at the end. I was like, man, it's like that's so unfortunate, but there's something here. There
I can gladly say I didn't have the same issue. Like I mean, I put a lot of time into it, but I was like, you know what? I kind of shelved it for a while, but
Mhm.
I didn't like regret what I played. I
Yeah,
actually was very happy with it.
and I actually went back to it briefly because I was trying to play stuff like besides the review stuff that I'm doing. And I was like, I was at Game Pass. And I want to see like how's Starfield doing right now. And I just kind of put it in. I was like, there's so much I like about this. There's still
Mm.
so much like the in vibes and stuff. That
I love
it's
the
a good
aesthetic of
game.
Starfield. I love the aesthetic of Starfield.
It is such a good game. It's just kind of it pales in the quality of life of other RPGs around it, but taken by itself, it's still like a game that
It,
I still like feeling. I don't know if I feel the same way about Outer Worlds 2 because I also wasn't a big fan of one, but I'm still gonna
neither
try
was
it.
I. So
Yeah, so
that's why I figured that'll be an interesting litmus test is
yeah.
to see if now
Hmm.
like I just was genuinely I like the idea of Outer Worlds
Hmm.
one. I don't know if two even deals
Yeah.
with
I,
of the like corporate world gone crazy, right? I like
yes.
that, but everything around it was so bland. Like
Hmm.
I know Maddie loves the characters. I thought the characters were so boring. It was
Hmm. I
unbelievable.
remember literally nothing of that game.
I thought Pavardi was terrible, and
Hmm.
I think that's her name. He
Yeah.
loved her. I thought she was terrible.
Hmm.
The gunplay sucked, which almost everybody I read did say that it's much better in two, so that's good. Um, and there
Hmm.
really was not much story. So, um,
Yeah. And that was my kind of my thing. Like I feel like a lot of people glazed Outer Worlds at the time because it was like pre-acquisition from Xbox, but eventually they got acquired, and then they still put out the game because they were already kind of
mm,
working it. This was when Fallout 76 was so hated
yeah,
about what had happened. People were wanting that kind of game, and Fallout 76 had just launched a subscription service, despite the game still not being fully fixed at the time. That then when Outer Worlds was there, it was like everyone is like, "This is a refugee." Like
mm,
this is a refuge for like what's happened and look what they're doing. But then when you actually get under the hood, I feel you start seeing more problems with Outer Worlds because I was
mm,
never like I've always been very vocal that from many game genres that I play, Western RPGs that are like first person, you're the character kind of games like the Oblivions, it's like I haven't finished many of them. Like Starfield, I made the push because it was a setting that I've always wanted in my life. But like I've only finished one Fallout, and that was four, which it's a headline.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
like two headlines ahead. Let's
Yeah,
pull it forward
yeah,
since
yeah, we can jump and then go back. Uh,
yeah. Let me put it here for you.
oh,
Like
you didn't have to do that. I was just going to
yeah,
read that
there you
one
go.
first and then go back.
There you
Uh,
go.
where to
Yeah, I put it
There we
up.
go.
It's
Okay,
yeah.
so today again,
How
October
Fallout?
23rd
Yeah, Fallout
was
happened.
Fallout Day. It happened, and really not much was announced except Fallout 4 is coming to the Switch too. Because hey, why shouldn't everyone suffer equally, right? Uh, it will also be re-released as the anniversary edition, similar to how they did Skyrim,
Hmm.
including over I think it's at 150
Creation Club
Creation Club
contents.
contents.
Hmm.
Again, similar to how they did Skyrim. Unconfirmed, is the number of new and returning glitches and crashes that are being included in this release. So stay tuned for some of that information.
Yeah.
And also, for reasons that defy common sense, Fallout 76 will be receiving a native PS5 and Xbox Series X and
I
S.
have a fun anecdote here because
Why?
yeah, I heard that. I actually heard that from Lord Cognito because he asked about it. Why is Fallout 76 still supported? You have to blame the people that are playing it on the PS Plus version on PS4.
Is that what it is?
It's like there are so many people that through this like putting them in the subscription, they were playing that PS4 version on PS5 so often. They have lifeline that game. It's like in such big numbers that Bethesda has still be like there's still an audience for that thing because I remember he said that and then Maddie was like, you PlayStation people have so many games, and then you're specifically like preventing Fallout from get out of the 76 club because you're still playing 76. So now
Yeah,
and that wasn't a native. That was the PS4 version that got patched to
right,
60
right,
FPS, and now
right.
they're giving it a native one. So it's like they're still
I
in it was for
I
76.
mean, to each his own. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I tried 76. I like obviously I put a lot of snark into that intentionally,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But I don't care for Fallout 4 at all. I love Fallout 3, and I
Hmm.
didn't play much of New Vegas because I was more or less done with Fallout by then. But New
Hmm.
Vegas was very good. I totally
Yeah.
acknowledge that.
Hmm.
That said, from minute one, I was like, why are they making 76? This sounds stupid.
Yeah.
And it was. It was stupid. It was bad. I tried it with an open mind again. Actually, I guess right after what you call it came out, the show,
Yeah.
and which is when it was good. I
Hmm.
went back and tried it, totally open mind, and I was like,
Hmm.
this is not good. What are people playing this for? This is bad.
Hmm.
And again, this is after it turned good.
Good.
I
Yeah.
totally disagree. I still think it was not a good game at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. When was the last time you played it? Because I played it recently,
About a year ago.
2024.
About a year
Okay,
ago.
because I got to help Travis Northup for my gen. He was tasked to do the re-review for look where Fallout is right now in 2024.
Mm.
So I kind of tagged along here. He gave it a 7. I think that's kind of right where it's still not a great
That's
game.
probably about
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
it's certainly
Especially
not something
now.
I'd want to dedicate that kind of time to. That's for
Yeah, me
sure.
neither. There's some people really like. I don't
Mm.
understand like why they like why they take to that game so much. And I feel like right now, that's more the scarcity of new Fallout that people just
I was about to say
remain
it's the
in
name.
the new one.
It's because of the Fallout name. Actually, I
Yeah,
say the name. It's the universe. It's the Fallout universe that people want to be in.
yeah. So it's like I think everyone will always kind of like always go back to what was the last thing released in the calendar, and that's probably why. But they
Mm.
keep supporting it, and the fact that we still don't have a Fallout 5 or a remaster or like a remake of 3 or 4, it's like boggles the mind. I'm hopeful that the Skyrim, I mean the Oblivion remaster was successful enough to show it and be like, if you're not gonna be doing a new one as we're waiting for all this, if you can like get
Yeah,
like
you at least need to update the old ones, right?
the old ones, let's do it. And Fallout 4, I like in the sense of because I never finished 3 in New Vegas. 4 was gonna be like my first Fallout, and I liked it as my first Fallout. I know people say that if I had really go diving deep into 3 and 4, I would have seen how much of a step back 4 was.
It
But
really I mean, don't get me wrong. It did have things I liked about it.
hmm
I actually thought the gunplay felt relatively okay in it compared to
hmm
3 in New Vegas, where it really didn't feel good at all.
yeah.
And I actually do like the setting of Boston. I think that is a good
Mhm.
setting for
That's
that.
what I love because I recognize a bunch of stuff from
Yeah,
Boston that I've seen in
yeah,
many
yeah.
stuff. So
I
uh,
mean, there are certain areas you can see in Last of Us that are
uh-huh.
in.
That and that's why.
Yep.
So
But unfortunately, almost everything around those things is not good in that game. And to this day, it still crashes like crazy.
it's an incredibly buggy game. That I
Yeah.
agree with. Even with the native versions that they launched on PS5 and
hmm
Xbox, I was
hmm
like, oh wow, all of that's still happening. Holy crap! And I
hmm
remember a lot of people were saying that yeah, Fallout 4 feels buggier than most of Bethesda games. And I remember people are saying this feels like it's gonna break. It's gonna
Yeah.
like in the PS4 version, it feels like it's in the border of breaking at any point.
hmm
So, but yeah, Fallout is coming, and kind of like it
hmm
says, like it's just so weird that like Fallout 4 and Starfield out of my the Bethesda games that I finished. Those are the ones.
hmm
And I still haven't finished Skyrim. I tried hard with Oblivion, Fallout 3 and 4. I've started but never make it past outside the area when you step out of the vault and things like that because they're just
hmm
they just feel so old.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
really like them.
I have never finished any of their games, but it's because I never really play the main stories when I play them. So that's
Exactly. You,
why.
you just kind of go around. So
Yeah.
I did mainline story the other ones, and I was like,
Mhm.
it's always the sad stuff that I like more. But Rick, I'm excited for this other one.
Uh,
Read me the
the
Shadows one.
Okay, so the next
Yes.
one,
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Shadows Fall Roadmap was revealed today by game director Charles Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
bringing more free content next week and next month, alongside more parkour improvements and options, as well as a mission. This will be in the
Mm-hmm.
November update that will allow Naoe and Yasuke to learn a skill from each other. And perhaps even duel. Now, they
Mm-hmm.
definitely showed they can. I don't know if it
Mm-hmm.
always ends
Yeah.
that way or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, Additionally, they announced during this that the game releases on Switch 2 December 2nd for $59.99. It was originally reported by VGC that it was 80, but that
It
is
is
incorrect. It's
okay.
60.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that would have
Um,
been like insane if it was like an 80
yeah.
bucks. If
Yeah,
it
it'd be
was the
more
worst
expensive than the
version.
version available now.
Yeah.
That version does not include the Claws of Awaji expansion, Awaji,
Mm-hmm.
which is already available, of course, for current platforms.
Mm-hmm.
It releases sometime after that, so I assume I don't
They're
know if
just
they'll
what. Mhm.
I don't know if they'll do the whole like pre-order this and you can have it for free again, or if they
Yeah.
go into the
And
platform.
and you got to remember, Clash of Awaji was like the make good of them canceling the season
Hmm.
pass after the
Hmm.
delay from last year, which we're
Hmm.
getting to the anniversary of when it originally was going to come out, which was November.
Hmm.
I would say like now I looked at the video. Unity is this close to come back.
The big difference there is the lack of buildings to do it with. Like
That's
the
what
only
pains
tall
me.
buildings and shadows
Yeah.
are like the temples.
And
Um,
that's so annoying because it's like
yeah.
Awaji does give you more of a town to kind of run and or, like it's not tall, it's like still short because
Hmm.
it's Japan all that, but it has more of a town that you can kind of like be parkouring like on top of it. So I feel that DLC would be the place to test this. It's I would hope because we know that Mirage is also adding parkour improvements too. It's like
Hmm.
Hex, which is supposed to be the next one, better have all this
Yeah,
big game
I'm amazed
from
we have
moment
not
one.
heard anything about that.
Yeah.
We heard about this canceled one,
Uh-huh.
and that was supposed to be the next one. I was like, I thought Hex was next up. What
Exactly.
happened there?
Yeah, and I know that Hex was being seen as like an experimental one made by Clint
You're right.
Hawking.
Right.
So I would hope that that's still kind of going. We know there's that the Black Flag remake that's gonna RPG it a little too much, and I'm like,
Mm.
that's not exactly what I wanted out of that because I'm just more of a traditionalist in the Assassin's Creed
Mm.
in my Assassin's Creed preference,
Yeah,
and
I understand.
and I just don't like how they do RPG because I feel the way Ubisoft RPGs its games too much, they're too level gated and not feel good. Like they don't feel as good as I want them to feel. Like I know like a non-RPG. That's kind of a reason why I prefer Yotei over Shadows. It'd be like glad I'm playing a samurai game that is not full of RPG of like RPG level gating and stuff. It's like glad my sword feels like it's slicing and dicing and killing like the enemies in like the amount of enemies in the amount of slices that it should compared to like Shadows that it's all based on like the health meter and things like
Hmm.
that. And if you're like in a bad area, like a level or two above, it's like your attacks are just not gonna feel good. So it's like
Hmm.
I feel they do RPG a little too level gatey for my liking. That is just like
I understand.
prevents the fun from being found so early. So that's why I'm like bummed about that. But I
Hmm.
can't wait to hear like I hope that Hex could be a Mirage because Mirage like it was good. It was good playing Mirage and it not being an RPG one, despite the mechanic. It's clearly that the animation rig and the mechanics is straight from Valhalla.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
so it's like it's still like you can see like how they reuse animation all that, but it wasn't an RPG. I was like, it worked, so it can work. So
Hmm.
so yeah, let's see. At least they're still keeping up to that. I want to go like I didn't complete Claws of Awaji not knowing this parkour improvements. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna
Hmm.
wait. Be like, why wait? Like, why play now if
Hmm.
they keep it like?
And I will say now, I mean, obviously you'll want to finish
Mm-hmm,
Classical Logic. I do suggest you at some point restart it and try playing it on Nightmare. Again, Nightmare is
mm-hmm.
very hard. I want to be clear,
Yeah,
it's very hard.
from
But
the very beginning.
something you had mentioned earlier
Mm-hmm.
about uh, Yasuke. I
Uh,
forget what it was you said, but I was going to mention. I just kind of let it go. I actually think that his focus being on
mm-hmm,
combat, when you play it on a higher difficulty, it actually makes him more
mm-hmm.
or not understandable, more like makes sense why he's there when you play on higher difficulty because on Nightmare, like I said, it's quite tough.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really want to be getting into combat with Naue if you can avoid it. But with him, it's like okay, it's still tough
He,
with him on the higher difficulties, but it's like
but he
okay,
can stand it.
he is the one who can actually fight.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on the lower difficulties, you could kind of just
Merc
pound through it with either one of them.
Exactly, unless you're
But,
in another level, which is
right,
like
right,
because either you're like murking them with Jaska like super quick, or you can't murk them at all if they're like
right,
a
right,
level or two above, and that's kind of like
right.
where my balance issues kind of come in where with them doing RPG style Assassin's Creed. Because if this was if we got Shadows as it was without any of the level gating or RPG in it, but with the exact same movements, like same animations and all of that, I feel it would be like even better game.
And actually, on that. same note, if you were to do it, maybe try this new game plus, because then you won't
Mhm.
be level gated. You'll obviously
Exactly.
still be encountering higher level enemies,
Yeah,
but you will be able to go to whatever region you want to. It's
exactly.
it's
Because
not going to it's not going to set this region higher than this region in new game plus.
yeah,
I wouldn't.
and I think they already patched the option that levels are not scaling with you because I know there was like a no, I think that was an Odyssey. I think that was an
I
Odyssey
was
that
gonna
you.
say I'm almost positive Shadow still does that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they better do that because I hate level scaling on top of like
Uh,
the level. Yeah, like
see, I usually turn it on anyway so that I'm not just pounding through. I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't outright impossible no matter what area I'm in, but
exactly.
I also don't want it to be
Mm,
killing enemies in one hit. It's like that. That's just not
no,
how.
that I get. That I do get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean like glad that they're still updating it because it's at least giving me reasons to be like, okay, I still want to check it out, even though I clearly landed now in the Yotei camp of like which are the two of the samurai games that I like the most from this year, and it's definitely that one. But it's still a good game. I still review Shadows. I still gave it an 8. It's like I waver back and forth if I still agree with that score because I still think of the 11 days that it took me to beat that entire game, and you haven't even like you have taken your leisure time just slowly playing and taking that
There
game
is no doubt in my mind the
that
way
you're
you
having.
had to play it
It's not the right way to play.
affected your opinion. Yeah, it's well,
Yeah,
it's objectively not the right way to play it, but the
exactly.
way you had to, there's no doubt in my
Hmm.
mind, it made you not like it as much as I think you otherwise would have.
Exactly, and I wonder what it would have been, but I also wanted to review an Assassin's Creed game. I was a big fan of
Yeah,
this, so it was a catch-22. Now I know, and I'm like, I'll think it twice.
that might not be a good one to pick to review.
Yes, let's do
Uh,
quick
uh,
reads of this next 4 before the last one
yep,
because
that's it.
yeah,
Well, this next one, actually, these next two
uh,
are very Rick ones.
there we go.
T Tales of series director Yusuke Tomizawa has
Mhm,
revealed that a Tales of Exilia 2 remaster is in development. Hell
mhm,
yeah. Obviously,
mhm.
as of this recording,
Yeah,
next week Tales of Exilia remaster comes out.
yeah,
Alongside, and just to be clear, that's my favorite Tales game of all time.
okay,
Alongside confirming at least two other new Tales games are in development. The world is healing.
and those are new ones, right? Not remakes. So
Those are going to be new Tales games, yes, or at least
oh,
it's believed to be.
yeah, so
He
like
didn't call them remasters, so we
yeah,
believe they are.
I follow up to Arise basically. So
Correct. Yeah.
mhm,
Next up, and
mhm.
this actually just happened today.
Yeah,
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, glory
glory
be
be
its
its
name,
name.
received its third and receives, excuse me, its third and final piece of DLC, Mysteria of Ecclesia, and that could be mispronounced. I don't know.
Uh,
On November 11th, making a surprisingly quick turnaround after a rather lengthy break between the first and second. This
mhm.
will unfortunately be the final DLC, and so Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 will,
It's complete.
yes, which is good but also sad.
Yes, I will
Uh,
say that, and just real quick,
mhm.
I'm looking at my calendar of what's coming in November. It's looking so sparse. That may
You
be
have to
finally.
you have to play Kingdom
Yeah,
Come Deliverance 2. You
yeah,
have to. It is
because
so good.
yeah, this is
It
still
is
like
so good.
yeah, Casey is still like the one game of like any big game this year that I'm like I feel I still need like if I'm gonna give my time today to one of these games, I'm gonna want to try it because
You'll like it. I almost guarantee you're gonna like it.
yeah, is again like again my WRPG kind of like these are the games that I bounce off so
Yeah,
like for
yeah, I know, but this one is pretty unique in comparison to the others, and I think you'll
mm,
like that about it.
yeah, I
Uh,
need to get out of like the place where I'm making potions. The potion. I barely just so you know I barely played it. So
yeah.
yeah.
Next up, Project Tal,
Mhm.
Tal, I believe is how it's
Yeah,
pronounced. A new open world action RPG by Korean studio Magna Madnigine. I have no idea how to pronounce that.
yeah. I don't
Was
know why.
revealed today. Targeting PC and console release in
Yeah,
2027.
yeah. I thought
I
you were.
saw, yeah.
I saw.
Sorry, go ahead.
I saw that trailer.
That looks very good. That looks very good.
That was posted over the STN Discord. I was
Yeah.
like, it feels like a character action based game
Mhm.
with Dragon's Dogma in a
Yes.
Korean
That,
in the high quality Korean Korean aesthetic that they become like so known for. And I'm
mhm.
like, no sign of Souls like. So I'm like,
Well,
or
there
at
were a
least
couple points that looked like it, but there's also just as many that it doesn't look like it.
exactly. So
So it could be, but I don't think it is. It doesn't look like it to me.
yeah. And speaking of Souls like,
Yeah, speaking of Souls, like Elden Ring Tarnished Edition for Switch 2, as well as the update coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC with new starting classes and items, has been delayed to 2026 because FromSoft can't code.
I have no. It's like it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like you
Yeah,
really are having that trouble. Like you're
yeah.
just getting that Switch 2 version out. It's
That
like
is weird, yeah.
yeah. Now I'm
And
really interested, and this
yeah.
final one I'm
This
interested
one,
in.
last one is a weird,
Yeah.
weird happening. Scarface: The World Is Yours nearly showed its cocaine-covered face to the world again via a random Steam page update. However, this was all just a drug-fueled fever dream, and Hong Kong publisher EC Digital said, quote, "The current page was initially intended as a placeholder while we worked through the ongoing licensing and technical matters," end quote. They then proceeded to call everyone cockroaches and shoot the underbarrel grenade launcher of their closest assault rifle for reasons as of unknown.
As a-
But yes, that is such a random bit of
yeah,
news. It
yeah,
came
yeah, absolutely. And what's funny is that every time that we've seen a Steam page update, it has really come with something.
usually does mean something. But
Mhm,
I mean, they did seem to indicate that it was their doing. However, they were trying to do it in case they got the rights. But it's like
mhm.
this game is infamous for having absolute IP hell to deal
Hell,
with.
oh yes,
You
with
got numerous. Since it also, I assume
the,
Al Pacino, you probably have to get his rights too because
mm,
his character likeness is in it. It's
yes,
not just Scarface; it is him.
and they couldn't get it for the Godfather game, if you
Right,
remember. Like they
right,
had to use a different face for like Michael Corleone because they
right,
couldn't get that
right.
because he had already sold his rights to the Scarface game.
And I believe the Scarface had a game had all kinds of like 80s licensed music, so you got that to deal with too. Like
And
this is the game of every game ever made. I don't ever imagine coming back.
yes, and also the big elephant in the room, Vivendi. This was a Vivendi
Is that
Universal
who it
game.
was? Okay, yeah,
Yes,
Betty's long
so
gone, aren't they?
yeah, Vivendi's like kind of exist in the
Yeah,
weird ether as they were trying to make a comeback by trying to hostile take over Ubisoft
yeah. I
back in
remember
like
that. That was a while
that.
back.
So yeah, it's like I'm still waiting to hear about Red Dead because Red Dead got that Steam page update.
That
This
seems to be real. It just
yeah.
hasn't been announced yet.
Oh yes, and Nate the Hate has basically
Yeah.
confirmed, and he has been like the most accurate about that. And
Kami, I believe, shared somebody else that said they have some info on it too. I forget who it was, but
yeah,
it
and
pretty clearly does exist.
yeah, it absolutely does. And well, I wonder, like the anniversary is in 5 days, so I wonder if they're waiting
Oh,
for
was
the
it
Red
really?
Dead, yeah, or 4 days. I think it was the 20th, or was it 2 days? When did Red Dead 2 come out? Yeah,
No, it came out in October for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I just don't remember when. It was late October,
Yeah.
when it came out. So it was
Wait, imagine if that's a shadow drop. That would be the greatest shadow drop of all time.
Oct-
Even if it's not
Oct-
a new game.
so 3 days actually from where we're recording,
Okay.
October 26th, and that's a
Okay.
Sunday. So
Yeah,
I
it's a
doubt
Sunday,
they
so
would do that.
that won't
But
happen.
like
But
if they want to do something, it would probably be then at
you
the
know what to do here, Rockstar. You
yeah,
know what to do. We want Red Dead Redemption 2 on
yeah.
PS5
That's all we need.
slash Xbox One series.
Yeah, because it's like the Series X version is great. The PS4 Pro version running on PS5, it's still great, but it's a clear like
It's a step down. Yes.
it's a step down. It's like that game that you have to play it on Xbox because they actually push for like full 4K on the One X. It was a that was the Xbox One X killer app. Like I would say,
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yes.
literally.
What if you remember when it first launched, the PS4 HDR was completely busted.
Yes, and it wasn't busted on Xbox.
Yeah. Right.
and,
Right.
and not only that, like the PS4 Pro. That's kind of like the irony. Sony had marketing rights. They sold the
They had the
PS4.
worst version. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the PS4 Pro version that you could get with Red Dead, but it was like they had a 4K that was checkerboarded. That is like,
Yeah.
okay, it still looked pretty because Red Dead is a gorgeous, but then when you saw the X, yeah,
to this day, it's still one of the best looking games made.
and but then when you saw the Xbox One X version, you're
Yeah,
like,
it
oh,
looked much better. Yep.
yeah, that was like I like that Rockstar didn't game. It was like they saw that they had extra hardware, and they're like, we're gonna
Yeah,
push that
yeah.
hardware.
It's like
So,
it doesn't matter who has the publishing right or the marketing rights.
mhm,
You got the extra juice, you get the better version.
100%. Let's hope.
Yep.
Like look what Oblivion did. Like even though that was leaked to hell, the store pages updates and the leaks is like it's pretty clear it's gonna happen. And I know that they've been noting that Rockstar has been doing good at putting something every year,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's very obvious that they're still waiting for their one something for this year, especially since GTA 6 was this year supposedly,
Right.
and then
And,
they delayed it.
and also rumored to be getting delayed still to next year, but
Uh-huh.
later next year.
Later for next.
So you know 2K is like, yeah, we know we're gonna make it back, but we want some of that billions back. We gotta find a
Uh,
way to do this. Yeah.
exactly. So that is all the headlines with a little bit of Rick patina to it. I'm gonna read as
Just a
the
little.
yes, I'm gonna read as the release dates for the week of October 26th to November 1st. So we're already like in November. So
It's crazy.
all these games are in October 28th. Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 coming to iOS. Death by Scrolling coming to PC. Duet Night Abyss coming to PC, iOS, and Android. Inmost coming to iOS and Android. Ira Prologue coming to PC. And Two Point Museum coming to Switch 2. And Recreation, like Rec and Reation coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC, and on the 28th. Then on the 29th, we got The Outer Worlds 2 coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC. According to Digital Foundry, you want to play this on an Xbox console. And
Or PC, I'm sure.
yeah,
PC
or
is
PC, unless you have a PC. But if you're on
right.
console, definitely got the Xbox Series X version. But also, this game comes out 5 days early in the with the deluxe edition. So that comes out the
Mm-hmm.
day this podcast comes out. So if you're interested in playing that,
No, 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 oh, I'm sorry. The day comes out. Yes, I'm sorry. You're
yeah,
right.
if you're interested in playing that early and you're willing to
Mm-hmm.
pony up the money, that's out when this podcast posts. Adrift, is that the same Adrift
I
game
thought
that?
that game came out years ago. I just saw that. I'm like, I don't think that's
Yeah,
new.
it's a different one. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
different kind
okay.
of Adrift. It's an indie game. It's not the Adrift that was like the first person
Where you were in
game.
space. Yeah.
They were in space. By the guy that used to work at Xbox that did the meme, the deal with it, that got
That's
fired.
right. I forgot
Adam
about. I forgot
Adam
that's who
Ward.
that was.
Yeah, Adam Ward.
Yeah, they
So,
fired him because he was an asshole on social media.
exactly. Um, Arc Raiders, the shockingly there's a preview cycle going right now.
Yeah,
And there was
that's
like a
gonna be a
test.
big one. That
Yeah,
is gonna
it's
be a
like
big one.
it seems like if people thought Marathon could be like the one that would break through with the extraction shooter on console, it seems that Arc Raiders is well
Yeah,
poised to be that. A lot of people are
yeah.
super excited. I got to play that with Paul one match, and we're like, there's something here. We're gonna get that. That comes out on the 30th. Dragon Quest 1 2 HD 2D remake coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch and PC also on the 30th. Mayogami comes to Switch 2, Switch and PC that same day. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, I'm very excited for that. Comes to PS5, Series X and S, Switch 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch and PC. Stray Children that same day on Switch and PC. Virtua Fighter 5 Reboot World Stage finally making its console debut on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S on October 30th. Tales of Exilio Remastered, we talked about it earlier. That's on the 31st for PS5, Series X and S, Switch and PC. And Terminal Brigade comes to Xbox Series X and S. I assume that's also on Game Pass. There is one game in this list that I'm currently, yeah, and one that I'm reviewing.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Yes, yeah. There's one that I'm reviewing. I will not say what it is. And there's another game and there's two that I'm interested. Actually, three that very interested on.
Well, yeah, you said Mortal
Mhm.
Kombat for you as well. So, I mean, it's Tails and
Uh-huh.
Outer Worlds.
In Outer Worlds. So it's a pretty good week
Well,
to
actually,
end.
four for you because you also
Four,
got
yeah.
Arc Raiders. Yeah,
Yes,
so yeah.
exactly. And that doesn't include the game that I'm reviewing. So because I
Yeah.
already know what it is. So
Yeah,
you'll
actually,
know.
the game you're reviewing, I'm also interested in.
Hmm.
But
So and again, like longtime listeners and viewers, if you remember what I reviewed last year, if you remember what game I was reviewing that my console got killed in a power outage, you have an idea. That's all I'll say. With that, Rick, this lengthy episode has come to an
yeah, I was
end.
going to tell you I wanted to make it a short episode, but we kind
Yeah,
of
no, wait.
to be fair, we did have a lot to talk about in terms of what we were playing, and that
Yes.
took us like an hour
Exactly.
and a half. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So let's see. Like this one. Let's hope that the recording holds because we have blackouts and all that.
If this one disappeared, man, I'll cry.
Yeah, me too. But Rick, where can people find you?
Bush4969 on Twitter and Xbox, PS5, whatever. YouTube.com/spreading the nerd. Friday 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my man Clint. We have a pretty cool topic for tomorrow, so come chill with us.
Yeah.
live.
Tomorrow I'm very excited because of something that you're going to show. That
Yes.
yeah, if you
It's
don't
actually
have to,
sitting, it's actually sitting right there. You can't see what it is.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Exactly. I know
That's
it's sitting there, but it's like
Yep.
by the time people see this, like they'll probably know what it is. And
If you're a collector, pay attention because this is something you actually might dig.
yeah, and find me at the Slayer Giant on Twitter, on BlueSky, and on Discord. And my written content over at seasongaming.com. I finally changed my name to just be the same thing. And over at twitch.tv/, yeah, I finally I'm embracing my Twitch name as my one. I always give it
It's
so much.
it's always better to have one handle than it is to have 50 different ones.
Because if you remember that I had 50 different ones, like it gave me endless shit about that.
When he said it was the first time I realized, because I never paid attention. I never realized you had a different handle for everything.
Yes, because it was like because I wanted to have my name, but I was like, you know what? I have a cool Twitch handle, and no one has that name. So it's easier. So it's the Slayer Giant on everything except Instagram. My Instagram, I have something, but I don't promote that. That's for me and me alone. But yeah, find my written content over at seasongaming.com, where you can go read my recent review of Ninja Gaiden 4, alongside many reviews that I've been doing since the release of Metal Gear Solid Delta from August. It's been like a constant stream back to back of many reviews, including the one that's coming next week that you'll know what it is. So, and I can't wait to talk about that next week. But yeah, Rick is out for next week. Paul will be back, and you'll see him tomorrow. I'll definitely gonna tune in because I want to see that thing in SDN. Uh, a final last minute change. My stream for today is not happening anymore. The movie I was gonna see, I'm actually gonna go see it now. So if you've made it to the end, you'll probably get this update now. But yeah, no, so my stream for Friday is back. I'm gonna go see the movie too. I'm gonna see the movie today in a few hours. So I want to thank
What movie you see it anyway?
Tron Ares.
I've heard good things about that actually.
Yeah, so I've heard mixed, but it's like I'm doing it more because I'm seeing it with a friend that recently has his birthday, my friend Alberto. So it's like, yeah, it's a good excuse to hang out with him because I barely see him. So, and it was his idea to see it. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning into this extra beefy episode of the X Button. If you like what you listen or watch, give us a like and subscribe. Join our Discord where our Discords. I'm gonna link both of those. Uh, so so yeah, and regardless, enjoy what you're playing. Enjoy the rest of what's coming out in this super packed October. Trust me, November's gonna be a breathing room with the Black Friday sales. You probably if you didn't
It
get
is a
anything,
surprisingly quiet November this
yeah,
year.
because everyone packed it in September and
Yeah,
October, not realizing the
yeah,
GTA wasn't coming. So that's
yeah,
probably what happened, and then no one wanted to blink, and now
yeah.
everything's been like lost. So, all right, we'll see you next week with Paul, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, Rick. And enjoy games
Press X.
to play. Hasta
Bye,
la
guys.
vista, baby.